Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pigside Podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown and Andrew Velez. And this is now episode 179. In this episode, we are going to talk about the Suns' embarrassing Game 7 loss, if the Sixers are making a mistake by bringing back Doc Rivers, Mike Brown being named the Kings head coach, and we'll preview both conference finals matchup. A quick Patreon shout out to Cole Larson, Zach Wilson Sucks, Alexander, Nazir, Dwayne, Riv Smells Like Deer Ankles, Scary Terry, Icon No Cap Anthony, Caleb Baker, Travis Toomer, Drews the Goat, Holmes, Nairi, your boy Nick, Pimp Chimpin, Jake the Snake, Corrupt, G Boog, Kobe Florence, Dylan, Afosa, Mason, Rivs Hair, Mad Sexy, Gentile Drew, Cade MVP, Mark, SP4Z Shot, Jordan What, Evan, Dylan, Joel is the Goat, Mayo, Andre, Peter, Daniel, Ben, Ruthless Rootster, Kill Moves, Joel B, SA Crimes, Kevin S, Eagle Dollar, Tizzy, Corey, Get Funkoed, Dylan, Playboy Orlando, Big Chuck, Michael, Greg, Cole, Liam, T Grove 17, Tua Sucks on Ka, Ryan, Epic Linkiness, It's Black Ace, Anthony, BJ, PJs, Langston, Jazzy Juice, Johannes, Dave McLaurin, Muffins, John, Sean Triplet, Burner Hoops, Court Cousins, P. Dot, Hikari, and Jay Aqua.
Good old Jay Aqua, man. That list is long. But let me tell you.
That shit just
let's
made
get
me
into
tired,
it.
that list. Jesus Christ.
Should liven you up, bro. Those are all our fans.
Yeah,
Those are all the people that love us.
That list long, man.
It is. It's a long list. I'm not going to front.
Look at over there real quick. Don't I look a little bigger?
That's why you were trying to put the sleeves up before the show.
Yes.
You been working out?
Yes.
Really? Okay. All right. You know what? Roll the sleeves up then. I feel you.
Now. Racially motivated.
Oh, my God. Here he goes.
I'm not
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Strong allegations,
I've been
man.
working out. You know what I'm saying? Been doing my push-ups, my pull-ups. I've been hitting the park in the morning.
Okay. Nice. Yo, the old-fashioned workouts.
The real gangster. Like, I'll be seeing outside.
Respect.
Four dudes, very, very strong guys.
You're like, you know what? I'm going to join in.
Yeah,
Let me get this work in.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm locked in.
Okay, let's do it.
Well, that's very nice of you to share, Riff. I'm glad.
Right? You know, everyone's got to be on a grind, and I respect yours.
So I'm locked in.
Well, this was a very exciting weekend of basketball. Very hectic turn of events. Suns lost in embarrassing fashion. The Celtics beat the Bucks pretty handily in Game 7. Game 7s weren't the best.
Horrible.
At least this year
Some of
around
the worst
in
Game
the
7s
second
I've
round.
ever seen.
I am very excited.
Yeah.
I am very excited. I tweeted out that I was going to have a lot of stuff to say on this podcast, and I am. And I think the best segment of mine is going to come when we talk about the Suns, but that's going to not be until, like, you know, a couple segments later. Let's start with the 76ers right here, because this was the first team to get eliminated from all the second-round teams, and we now know some things about Philly. They're bringing back Doc Rivers. James Harden is opting into his option, which is worth $40+ million a year. It's 47 million a year. And Joel Embiid also made some post-game comments about James Harden and him saying that he's not the same player anymore. It's not Houston Harden. He's more of a playmaker. Now, just what do you think about all of this that's going on with Philly? How you feel about them going forward? You know, is there room for optimism, or is this just kind of like a black hole?
I mean, when you have Joel Embiid, it's always room for optimism. You know, he's in the regular season probably a top 4 player in the NBA. You know, he's been playing like an MVP the last 2 seasons, been just as dominant as anybody in the league. But his comments, they were obvious. We can all agree. You know, James Harden hasn't looked the same.
Were they out of line, in your opinion?
No, I wouldn't say they were out of line. He
Even though that's a teammate.
If they was out of line, I don't feel like Harden would have opted in.
Really?
No, I mean, he
47 mil. Who's giving him 47?
That is true.
Who's giving him 40?
That is true.
Who's giving him 35?
But I think, like, sometimes you got to call out your teammates. And I
agree.
think, like, Harden being, like, I don't think Harden is soft. I don't think him being a veteran in this game, him understanding what, like, he knows he wasn't, right? You know, he said it himself. This is going to be the first offseason he really has to get that hamstring right if it is still bothering him, which it looked like it has. So this is going to be the first summer he needs to get right. I think Daryl Morey needs to make some moves. You know, George Niang, Danny Green.
Respect my twin.
They're not good.
George
they need to really fix up that rotation. You know, Matisse Thybulle, I don't like, as great as he is defensively, he's literally nothing on offense.
He's useless.
He misses layups, he can't shoot. He needs to definitely get in the lab. They need to build up this team. You know, they're waiting on Tyrese Maxey to make another leap. They want Harden to come back stronger than what he was last year. But they definitely need to fix up the rotation. Doc Rivers coming back. Realistically, what coach is on the market right now? You know, you look at the market. I know a lot of people are confused at why he's come back, but look at the market. Who are you really going to sign? The person that just got signed was Mike Brown. I don't think you're going to pick Mike Brown over Doc Rivers at this point. So I think at this point you had to bring him back. You had to give him, to be fair to Philly, Embiid got hurt. You know, so it's like that really put a dent. Now, I don't want to say a dent on the season, but that definitely hurt them in the series against Miami.
For sure.
You know, they did lose 2 straight, but that hurt them in the series. So I think right now they just need to build that rotation, build up that depth. And James Harden needs to come back better than he was last year.
100%. I'll say this. Do I think Joel Embiid's comments were out of line? Not really. Not really. If anything we've learned about Joel Embiid is that he's going to tell you exactly how he feels, especially if it's in reference of the team getting better. Yeah. He was very vocal about Ben Simmons. He said, listen, Ben, you need to get in the lab. You need to start being aggressive. He was very vocal about that. And I'm sure that Embiid's just as vocal when it comes to just the two of them having a private conversation. I can understand when you get into the media, that's when it starts to become an issue because you want to keep certain things private. But there's some guys that are trying to motivate you in different ways. Embiid's a unique individual where he wants to motivate you by challenging you to the media because he understands his words have significant meaning. He speaks, here we are talking about it on the podcast because he is that impactful of an NBA player. He's 100% right. He's not that same player right now because he has been trying to come back from this hamstring injury for an entire season, really didn't have a full offseason to work. Now he has a full offseason to recuperate that hamstring. And we've seen hamstring injuries, especially a player towards the back end of their career, start to hinder their play. And James Harden has to get through that. And in order for Philly to reach the heights that they want to reach, James Harden has to be James Harden. That was said when the trade was made. It can be said until James Harden's time's done in Philly. If James Harden wants to win a championship in Philadelphia, if Joel Embiid wants to win a championship with James Harden being his counterpart, James Harden has to step up to the plate. Now, as Doc Rivers being the head coach, I don't mind it. He's had to deal with some interesting circumstance. Last year, he comes in year one, the first seed in the Eastern Conference, overachieved in that sense, and they underachieved come playoff time. And that was due to Ben Simmons' mental lapse, where it was very uncharacteristic of him to just completely take himself out of a game offensively. Defensively, he was still Ben Simmons, but offensively, he refused to be aggressive, and that definitely impacted that outcome of that series. Now this year, you don't have Ben Simmons playing the first half of the season, and they played relatively well. Joel Embiid, when he was on the court, had them in contention night in, night out. That's why Joel Embiid was a candidate for the MVP. And then the trade happens, James Harden comes in, and then James Harden was excellent for those first 3 games, and then you got an inconsistent play out of him. And it was a lot that he had to manage, and the roster construction itself wasn't great overall, and he did what he could. Of course, you come up short, and you can't be happy with that outcome, especially when you have Joel Embiid, who's expiring. Of course, Joel Embiid is great right now. He is a top 4, top 5 player at worst in the NBA. But who knows how much longer that body can take. I think that you need to, if you're Philadelphia, continue to try and put the best roster out while you have Embiid in his prime, and you don't know how long that's going to last for.
Philly is stuck. It's as simple as that. They lost to the Heat 99-90 in Game 6. It felt like much more. I didn't think Philly ever had a chance. The main problem is that they're too top-heavy. They have 4 players. It's Harden, it's Tobias, 100%. It's Embiid, and it's Tyrese Maxey. Everybody else after that, Danny Green, I'll put him in there as well. Everybody after that.
Get well soon, Danny.
Is not somebody that you can rely on. You can't rely on Niang. You can't rely on Shake Milton. You can't rely on Cork Miles.
You
can't rely on DeAndre Jordan.
No, you can't.
You can't rely on any of their bench players. You can't rely on Thybulle. Because of that, that's Philly's major problem. And they just have no depth. And Doc Rivers staying, and I think it's a good move. Only because, Doc Rivers was right. In his post-game press conference, he said, when I first got here, no one picked us to be anywhere.
For sure.
People take that quote and they say, oh, but you had Embiid and Simmons. Yeah, we picked you to, make the final. Like, nobody picked Philly to make finals when Doc Rivers first got the job. It was fresh off when Jimmy Butler had just left. They signed Tobias Harris. People had tame expectations for Philadelphia, and he took them to the first seed. And this year, they were a top 3 seed. No, they were the 4th seed. So Doc Rivers has done an okay job. And to be fair to him, James Harden gets traded for at the midway point of the season. George Niang went on NBC Sports Philadelphia on a podcast that they do and said they had 4 to 5 practices with James Harden. 4 to 5 practices isn't enough practice to implement somebody of James Harden's stature into an offense. And Patrick Beverley on First Take today was talking about how Doc Rivers playing for him, his offense. Doc Rivers demands a lot out of the point guard position. So maybe Harden not playing to his regular self is more so due to the fact of him trying to incorporate himself into Doc Rivers' system. Maybe it's him not being the same. Maybe it's a combination of both. But either way, this team needs a full offseason to fully mesh together and to figure out how they're going to run their offense. Because Harden and Embiid, both their play styles are contrasting play styles. They don't complement each other. And that's something that I said when Harden first got traded to Philadelphia. But here's where everything goes bad. And this doesn't look good for Harden. 4 losses to the Heat were by an average of 18.5 points. That's the largest margin of victory in a loss in Sixers history.
Wow. So
this was an embarrassingly bad series for Philadelphia. There have been 4,062 postseason games since 1996, and Harden is the only NBA player in that 26-year span to fail to score in the second half while committing at least 3 turnovers in at least 23 minutes. This was an embarrassingly bad second half performance for James Harden in most of these games.
Yeah, he was historic.
He played in 6 second halves. He had 11 turnovers and 9 total baskets in all of those second halves combined. That's a lot. And I just don't know where Harden goes from here. Is he going to opt into his option? Of course. It's money that he can't pass up on.
Absolutely not.
Should Philadelphia extend him? Depending on the number, they should. But what Philadelphia has to do this offseason is they have to offload Tobias Harris because Tobias Harris doesn't fit in with this team. They have to get more role players. And Joel Embiid said something that I really agreed with. And this is his exact quote. We've never had PJ Tucker. That's really what I'm trying to say. Joel Embiid was talking about the toughness of certain teams and how in his time in Philadelphia, he's never had an enforcer like a Marcus Smart,
Jimmy,
like a PJ Tucker. Well,
Jimmy
that was for a short amount of time.
Leash in what way? And then we'll get back to
Brett Brown.
Okay, all right.
That was a short amount of time. But what Joel Embiid is saying is that he's never had one of those just glue hustle guys on Philadelphia, and he feels like that's something they're missing, a PJ Tucker. And I totally love him giving PJ his credit because he was phenomenal as well, shooting-wise, defensively. We know who PJ Tucker is. On to Joel Embiid's actually, before I get onto that, Harden was asked if Doc Rivers basically calls plays to get him the ball. And Harden refused to answer it and just said next question, which means that Doc Rivers doesn't. So that's probably another reason why Harden failed to really implement himself in the offense, and Doc Rivers has a lot of blame in that. I didn't like Joel Embiid's comments. I didn't like it at all. Like, not one bit.
Because he called your boy out?
Not because he called Harden out. It's because it just showed me that he's not a leader. His comments showed me he is not a leader. He said these 2 quotes. At some point, you have to stop looking at the front office and coaching staff. You have to look at the players. I like that.
Okay.
That's something I do like
I
because
agree.
he's saying he's basically co-signing Doc and what Elton Brand has done, which was give Al Horford a shit ton of money to only trade him and find out it didn't fit. Elton Brand has made a lot of shit moves.
Yeah.
So for Embiid to be like, oh, we got to stop looking at the front office coaches. I mean, the front office is the reason why there's no depth on your team.
That's true.
That's one thing. And Doc Rivers, we've seen time and time again, him failing to adjust has also caused the Sixers big time and teams in the past big time. But I do like that he's also holding players accountable.
And himself included in that.
But then him saying, since we got him, everybody expected Houston James Harden. But that's not who he is anymore. You may look at that as being real. Maybe it's how Joel Embiid feels. But it's a stupid comment for him to make. And the reason why it's stupid for him to make was because 3 games into James Harden's tenure, the first quote that came out of your mouth was, "I've never been this open in my life." At that point, you weren't saying, "Oh, no, man, he's not the same." No. But now that he's going through a rough stretch, instead of saying, this is what Joel Embiid actually should have said. And this is where maybe my media training comes in so handy. I'm like a PR guy. But Joel Embiid should have said was, I understand James Harden had a rough series and he hasn't totally been himself, but we have to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's been stringing a hamstring injury that he played through last year in the playoffs, and he hasn't been able to have a full offseason to totally work on his basketball skill. This year, he was really hindered by that. So I'm really looking forward to this offseason and seeing how James Harden comes back from that injury because I think he's going to be back to his normal self, and I'm going to love playing with him when he does that.
Maybe Embiid's not, though. Maybe he's tired of carrying them all the time.
But this is where I want to get to. We just saw Pat Bev go on a media tour slandering Chris Paul. But in the midst of that entire media tour, he also said, I would still give James Harden the max because Doc Rivers is tough to play for. Pat Bev, somebody who played with James Harden in Houston, is defending him. And Joel Embiid, who Harden is his current teammate, can't say, look at what this guy's been through with his injury. I mean, this guy played through a grade 2 hamstring last year in the playoffs. He played 60-plus minutes on it. Let's give him time to come back from this because I know when he comes back, we're going to be a much better team. Because at the end of the day, if Joel Embiid is wise, he realizes this. The Sixers are stuck. And unless you're getting that version of James Harden, you are not competing for a championship. So ultimately, maybe you're right. Maybe Embiid is tired of it. And that's another thing I thought of. We might be seeing Joel Embiid demand a trade soon if he sees Philly being this stuck.
That's facts, though.
I don't see it.
No, you're right. Maybe he won't demand a trade. He'll leave.
He just played with a broken face.
But how can he leave without demanding a trade?
I mean, how many years does he have left on his contract? He'll leave after the contract.
2 or 3.
You think he'll wait that long?
You know what? Understandable, given his body. He wants to maximize his prime right now.
Back-to-back years of his co-star not playing good in a playoff series.
When it matters most.
When it matters most and him carrying. I think that puts, like, I understand you don't like the comments, but sometimes that puts you in a, like, he's probably just upset.
And
like,
Joel,
he didn't play his best.
He had a broken face.
I was going to say, Joel Embiid playing with a fractured orbital, comes back, definitely putting his body on the line. I'm sure he wants a little bit out of his number 2, and he's not giving that to him. He didn't give that to him.
He gave that to him in Game 4.
He had a stellar performance. It was his best game in months.
That's for sure. Harden was phenomenal. I didn't get fooled by that performance.
Of course,
I knew what was going to happen.
Game 6 was terrible.
But at the same time, like,
that's just been the epitome of Harden this whole season.
But at the same time, Embiid has to instill confidence in his teammates as a leader. He has to be able to say, no, I believe in this guy.
Maybe he's not a leader.
That's what I'm saying. I think his comments showed me that he's not a leader. He needs somebody like a Jimmy Butler.
Was Shaquille O'Neal a leader in your opinion?
No, not the best one, I would say.
Definitely not, but was still able to get the job done.
Yeah, but it's different because with those Lakers teams and all-star players.
We're talking about a great team.
All-star players don't have to be leaders. Like on those Laker teams, usually the middleman was Derek Fisher. Derek Fisher was the leader on those teams. When you look at the Lakers that won the championship in 2010 and 2009, the leader on those teams was Derek Fisher. Kobe was the best player, and Kobe does have a mindset tough as nails.
Okay.
But Derek Fisher was the calming presence on those teams.
I feel like in the later stages of Kobe's career, he definitely was more a leader. 100%.
The reason I disagree with that,
I
I disagree with that statement because we also saw that same Kobe, once that team got worse, was still screaming at his teammates in practice and throwing the ball at them.
Well, I mean, Jordan did that. He had a whole career of doing that, and that was his way of being a leader.
Yeah, I understand, but that's not a way that usually,
I mean,
leaders
there's
lead.
different strokes for different folks. That's really what it comes down to.
I know what you're saying, but
which is why I don't mind the Embiid comments. I understand it comes off a little bit brash, right? But end of the day, this is his way of motivating these guys. Listen, I am not going to hold back my feelings. You need to come correct.
And then for him to say, basically, like for him and Jimmy Butler to have this love fest,
that was crazy.
Is just ridiculous. In
that
my
was
opinion.
crazy.
It's just ridiculous.
That I agree with.
So
what's wrong with it?
I mean, bro, you just lost to him, and then you're basically just.
I wish I had him on my team.
Exactly, it's like egregious. But he's understanding and voicing. Listen, like what I've been saying, Joel Embiid's not a private individual when it comes to what he's thinking.
True.
They made a mistake. You should have signed him instead of Tobias. That's obvious.
That's another thing, right? Because not only did he not vouch for Harden and kind of toss Harden to the side like he's
I'll agree with.
He's dirty laundry.
Yeah.
He also inadvertently said, "Yeah, we fucked up signing Tobias."
Essentially,
that's what he inadvertently
but
said.
Is he wrong about that?
He's not wrong about it.
But so then,
But
what is wrong with what he said?
No, it's not. There's nothing wrong with it. But as a leader,
I mean, wrong in,
You
like,
have
factual.
now outcasted 2 of your 4 best players.
Tobias got to go. He's got to go. We know this. Harden's got to stay.
Okay, but I'm saying,
he has no
let's
choice.
just say they're all together. You just basically shoved 2 of your best players to the side. That's what I'm saying.
They got to play better, man. This is 2 years in a I'm not talking Harden specifically. Tobias was not good. Ben was not good last year. This season, Tobias was inconsistent. I won't say he wasn't good. He was inconsistent. This year, Tobias was not good. Harden,
But
epitome
also,
inconsistent.
look, I mean, I understand we're trying to give Embiid the benefit of the doubt because he's the best player. I understand that. But
you about to come crazy at him right now?
At the same time, we remember that Atlanta series last year. He didn't show up for any fourth quarter.
Ben
was gassed.
Simmons didn't show up for 4 quarters of almost
I
any
understand.
game.
I understand, but Embiid also didn't show up
Because
for
he was
4
what?
quarters. He was gassed
Because of what he
So
was
work
doing.
on your conditioning.
No, he was backpacking and carrying them bums. He was carrying them. He was legit carrying bums, bro. Like, come on, bro. Let's not do that, bro. He was carrying bums just like he was carrying bums this series.
I don't want to hear that. Because if
What you mean?
if any other star player has a shit fourth quarter and you end up losing that game, then you're gonna say you didn't live up to your superstar status in those fourth quarters. Embiid didn't play to his standard in those fourth quarters, and that's the bottom line of it. So that's why I understand the comments, but those aren't endorsements like that. As a leader of a team, you just can't say things like that. And that's my main point. Luka's playing with the worst roster than Embiid has ever had. But, well, as the Sixers have been in the playoffs at least, and you don't go Luka saying, oh, man, yeah, like, I wish I had Bradley Beal on my team. He doesn't say that. He says he thinks these guys are great players, and whether he believes it or not, he's bringing that endorsement.
Embiid's been in the league a little bit longer. He has a little bit more leeway in what he says. Yes, Luka's already on that superstar.
Luka's made a
level
conference finals before Embiid.
Yeah.
He has more leeway. Yeah. Luka has more leeway.
But vocally he can't be like that yet. He's still too young.
Oh, you know what's the difference between Luka and Embiid? Luka will talk shit and give you 40.
Nope,
like he did to the Suns.
Embiid
will come on, stop.
Like he did to the Suns.
Embiid will talk crazy and still give you 40.
Booker said Luka's special. They blew the Mavericks out in Game 5.
He's cold.
Luka looked at the camera and said everybody acts tough when they're up, and then came back and won 2 straight games. Luka's a legend. Let's
yes,
chill.
but he's still young and he can't jaw crazy.
You know what else
team.
is also crazy about Dallas blowing the Suns out? Dinwiddie had 30. Jalen Brunson had 25. His guys came to play basketball.
That's facts.
They came to actually play ball.
That's facts.
Harden did not.
But Embiid didn't come to play ball either. Well, he showed up, but he didn't play like Embiid.
He had a broken
Come on, man.
face.
Okay,
bro.
so
come on.
Stop. Joel, come on.
Here we go.
Isn't Riv the one that always says, if you suit up, you suit it up? I don't want to hear any excuses. Don't you always say that?
He had a broken face.
He's right though.
He had a broken face. He couldn't see the ball,
I agree.
bro. Like he could not see the ball. And he still came to play, bro. Like he still came to show.
Nah, he suited up. But did he came to play like MVP Embiid? No. He wasn't MVP Embiid.
Did Harden play like anything Harden?
No.
Oh, okay. There it is. This is another fourth quarter stinker that Harden has had, and when he's shown his career that he just doesn't show up for those moments. Simple. I'm sorry. I hate it had to be. Actually, I don't hate it had to be him. I don't hate it had to be him.
But you picked Philly out to come out the East this year.
You're a liar. I don't hate it had to be him. It's just he shows you who he is. I'm sorry, but Philly's gonna be fine. They need to build that team.
Do you think
up.
they're gonna be fine?
As long as they have Embiid, they'll be a playoff.
It's gonna
team.
be a very. interesting offseason to look forward to if you're a Sixers fan because you need to
What
see
can
something
you realistically get for Tobias Harris?
Role players, that's it.
$36 million. Tobias Harris. Who's taking that contract? The Kings?
The Pistons?
Maybe.
Sadiq Bey is better than him.
He wouldn't trade Sadiq Bey, though.
They have Jeremy. I wouldn't trade Jeremy Grant for Tobias Harris. I really wouldn't do it. Would you? I would do it.
No, I wouldn't do it either, but
yeah, so it's like
they can get Corey Joseph.
Oh my God, that's worse than Shake Milton.
I don't know. Maybe Orlando. They could use a little bit.
Orlando's not.
I don't know. I mean, they could.
I said
use
the only dumb franchise is the Kings.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they have Harrison Barnes is better.
Barnes
than
and Holmes, and then Philly throws in some picks. Like, listen, man.
Yo, you bring Barnes to Philly for Tobias? That's interesting. I would do that. I would do that. Yeah, exactly.
But I don't.
Who knows what Harrison Barnes could do in the playoffs? I mean, last time we saw it was bad, but it's been years. It's been years. Who knows if he's that same guy?
He's going to turn into a spot-up shooter when he gets to Philly.
You think?
Yes.
I mean, Tobias, he gets opportunities with the ball in his hands to make something happen. I agree.
What's the point of him having the ball?
Not much, but I'm saying maybe something
Malcolm
happens
Brogdon?
different. For Tobias,
the Pacers wouldn't do it.
No.
I know. Nobody would. That's my point. Tobias is literally damn near untradeable. He's almost like Westbrook.
But I feel like Malcolm's available though.
Not for Tobias.
No, I agree. But I mean, they have the point guard already. They have Halliburton. It's a possibility.
Brogdon can play both though.
No, I understand.
Who's better, Brogdon or Tobias?
Tobias is better.
You think so?
I would personally take Brogdon. It's. I mean,
really
it's
don't
really.
know.
Come
it's
on,
really
no,
a toss
it's
up for
like,
me. I'm
dude,
really stuck here. You would take Tobias.
Tobias is better. You disrespect Tobias a little bit too much.
I mean, bro, he really
What's
is
the
just the
disrespect?
epitome
What's
of
the disrespect?
you
dude.
just act like he's just like
Mid.
unserviceable player.
No, he's mid.
When you need him, he's unserviceable.
He's mid. You're gonna pull up his numbers. I'm gonna tell you he's mid.
I told you last season he was decent but inconsistent.
He's good. He'll give
This
you a cool
year
18, 19 a game.
What was going on?
But it's like it's probably the most.
It's ugly.
I don't give a shit. 19 in like NBA history. Like I just maybe I'm being. Maybe
No,
I'm
I know what you're saying.
Tobias Harris.
You're just being very firm about it, which is fine.
Maybe I'm being a little.
It's
too
funny
hard.
though.
I mean, we'll see, man.
He said it's probably the most ancient 19.
Like when
That's how I
Tobias.
feel about Bam. So
Really?
nah,
At least
not
Bam's
at
giving
that
me, like,
level. I know.
all-world Defense.
I'm
like,
just talking.
What's Tobias doing? Coming up, pulling up, jump shot. It's like okay, it's
Goes
my going.
in.
Maybe not. I don't
When
know.
he attacks the basket, I'm not looking forward to that.
When he gets the ball,
ugly.
it's
Maybe
like
Chicago could trade for him once Zach LaVine leaves.
if we get
Don't
Tobias,
waste
bro,
your energy.
I'd be in misery. No, I'd really be like, bro. Oh my god.
No,
bro.
I
watching
understand.
him chuck is crazy. Like him and Vooch, the same guy to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like watching him play,
Vooch turned up for y'all
turned up for what?
in the playoffs. He was
wide open.
Yeah, he was.
If you're wide open, I don't care what you do. You're wide open.
Whoa.
I don't care if you're wide
That's
open.
not necessarily true.
Being left wide open. If DeMar's getting a screen, they're trapping him every time. It's left wide open.
I don't know, man. It's rude.
What is Tobias, like a top 80 player in the NBA? 90? 75?
I think he's the top 60.
You don't believe that. You don't believe that. I think De'Aaron Fox is like top 50.
Oh my God, that's low.
He's pretty
That's
much. I think he's
low,
pretty.
bro.
I think he's
Stop.
confidently better than Tobias Harris.
I think
Yes.
De'Aaron's like more top 40.
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you, you were very.
Where's
that's
RJ?
very
Top
low.
50?
He should be top 50.
He's confidently better than Tobias Harris. Like I'm willing to confidently better than Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey. So it's like
Tyrese Maxey, man, another one, inconsistent.
Harris is top 90 in the league.
Top 90. That's hilarious.
On to the next topic. The Memphis Grizzlies lost to the Golden State Warriors 96-110 in Game 6. Now, this was the battle of the old versus new, old school versus new school. Some people picked Memphis to overtake Golden State and now take that next step as the young, up-and-coming young team that they are. Steph, though, he said that after they lost to the play-in against them last year that it wasn't going to be the same result, and now he beats them in the playoffs, so there's that. But do the Grizzlies need to acquire another star to take that next step, or do you think they just have to keep building up this core they currently have, or maybe use some of these depth pieces to go get a young star? Maybe Zach LaVine's on the market and they want to trade because he's the only star that's really available.
Beal?
Beal is sort of available.
He's available.
Yeah,
You think Zach better than Beal?
No, it's because he is. No, it's because he is.
Yeah, all
It's
right.
'cause he is.
I respect. At least you're respecting Zach to a degree. You keep throwing his name up.
He wants him off the
No,
Bulls so
I
he can
just-
root
Yeah, I
for
know.
him.
I'm just letting you know that
He's
Zach
gone.
won't be on the Bulls next year.
Well, Randall will be on the Knicks, so
You're not too sure about that. I'm not too sure about that.
sure.
I'm not sure. If I'm the Knicks, I am not sure.
Well, if you're the Knicks, you know nobody wants him. He's borderline Tobias Harris at this point. First of all, congratulations to the Grizzlies. You know what I'm saying? Tough series. Without Ja, they played amazing, better than a lot of people. Well, not really because people saw the record, but they played low-key better than when they had Ja. But shout out to Ja. He put on an incredible performance. But the old and the experience always ends up winning. You know what I'm saying? People wanted the new young stars on the block to overtake the Warriors. It just didn't happen. Do I think the Grizzlies need another star? I really don't think so. I honestly think they can build this team. You know, I think they have the proper depth. I think just everybody needs to get better. I think John needs to become a more, I don't want to say he needs to be an elite defender, but I'm going to use Steph as an example. Steph was a bad defender in his early career. Continued to get better. And you know how you become better? You become better at communicating. You become stronger so you can be able to guard the third or fourth best guy who's usually a weak wing, or a spot-up shooter who's bigger than you. Become better as a team defender. John needs to do that. John needs to put more effort on the defensive end. He needs to continue to improve that jump shot. And if he does that, they'll be fine. Along with Jaren Jackson just becoming more disciplined in the game, becoming more, what's the word I want to use? Just more focused.
Refined,
definitely something along the line. He's too out of control.
He's sporadic.
Yeah, he's insane. He needs to relax. The fouling he needs to cut down. Defensive player of the year is going to be in his career when it's all said and done, though. I think he has that type of ability, but he definitely needs to become more controlled, more refined. He needs to become more disciplined. But I think they have the pieces. Aside from moving Dylan Brooks, I think, Steph.
That's the name.
Steph.
That's
John Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. That's a pretty solid young big three. Then they always continue to build the pieces around. They have a lot of draft picks. They have good players around them. DeAnthony Melton's still young. I hope they try to bring Tyus Jones back, but he'll probably go start somewhere else. But that's fine. They draft well. Zaire Williams looked really good against the Warriors, playing in that role. He was catching lobs. Defensively, he was great. He was hitting spot-up jump shots. He looked really great, much better than Dylan Brooks. Better fit for them, too. So I think this team, I don't think they need another star that's just going to push these young guys away, because that's what happens. I think they should just keep building on the foundation and the culture of what they have and just keep moving in that right direction. Get guys who fit the system. Don't go for talent. Go for fit and build around your young stars.
There's no reason to hit the panic button when your starting five's average age is under 26 years old. They overachieved tremendously, being the second seed in the Western Conference this year. They had been the surprise of the season. They were absolutely excellent. Now, against the Warriors are just a better team right now. They're playing better basketball. You saw the Grizzlies really have a tough time against the Timberwolves, but they fought, and multiple comeback victories where they were down over 20 points, 2-3 times, and the Grizzlies were still able to overcome. I don't mean to reopen that wound, King. I apologize. But the Warriors are just playing better basketball right now, and I don't think that you losing to the Warriors is something to hang your head about and look to completely try and alter this team to try and put yourself over the top. You're still incredibly young. You still have years of development. You still can have John Morant become better, a better jump shooter like you mentioned. Desmond Bane, still early in his development, has already taken a great stride in his game. You have Jaren Jackson, who defensively is very, very good. However, he gets in foul trouble way too often, is a little bit too aggressive, takes himself out of games, especially when his team needs him the most. Dylan Brooks is the one piece that you look at and think, can we get a player like him that is just a notch above him? I don't know if you necessarily can. The one thing I'll say about...
I think you need a smarter him.
Offensively, obviously, because defensively he's great, and when he's on the court, defensively he's great.
Offensively, a smarter him. He takes
his
them
shot
out of the
selection.
rhythm.
His shot selection is definitely questionable, and something that you can work on that, especially if you're. He was out a lot of to start the season. Came in obviously later in the season, and he really. It took him some time to really find himself in that offense. I feel like an off season with Dylan Brooks now, with everyone who has already proven we can do this as just our group alone, we can be successful. I think of an off season with Dylan Brooks with the new mindset of trying to play team basketball and not be so isolation heavy, he could work, but he's the one player that I look at and think maybe I could upgrade a notch above him. But I don't know if I would do that right now. They have a good chemistry. They've shown they can have success. And you lost to the team that's potentially going to go to the finals. Yeah. There's none to hang your hat about.
I knew the Warriors were going to win, but I was shocked at how they won. Out rebounding Memphis 44-70. Well, 70-44 in their case.
For sure, especially with Grizzlies being the leading rebounders in the NBA.
Yeah, for sure. But we all knew that Memphis was never supposed to make it out the first round.
Minnesota. We didn't all know that.
Minnesota was supposed to handily beat them. They're supposed to beat them in 5. We're being truthful.
No, we're not.
That's what's supposed to happen. But I mean, the only game the Grizzlies out rebounded the Warriors was in Game 5, the blowout game, which it really felt like the Warriors came out just flat. They didn't really care too much about that, and just being out rebounded by the Warriors hurt so much because they are one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. They're top 5 in attempts in the NBA right now. I would say even top 3. So because of that, when you're giving them so many more possessions, it just kills you defensively. I disagree on Dillon Brooks. I understand he can be very knuckleheaded when it comes to taking shots, but Dillon Brooks is to the Grizzlies what Marcus Smart is to the Celtics, what other enforcers are to their teams.
That's strong.
Dillon
they had
Brooks,
a lot of success even before he came back.
I understand, but Dillon Brooks is the heart and soul of that Memphis team.
Ugh, I don't know. That's strong.
They played better in the series without him.
That's not true.
I think so. The game he got suspended was probably their best game, honestly.
I don't know.
And he takes them offensively. He takes them out of rhythm a lot with his shot selection. Even Game 6 in Chase, the shots he was making them, but those were bad shots, bro. And I don't think you should trade him quickly,
of course.
But he's been this player since Oregon.
He's been this player, but I believe he's the heart and soul of that team. Personally, that's what I think. I think the two guys that are that for Memphis are Brandon Clark and Dillon Brooks. But Dillon Brooks is the outspoken leader. When you look at Memphis play, whenever a defensive stop happens, whenever somebody gets fouled, Dillon Brooks is right there clapping his hands, talking to everybody, and you need those guys on your team. And that's why I don't think Memphis should be jumping at the gun to try and trade him. Maybe reduce his role coming off the bench so he's more of a Jordan Clarkson and he can just go friendly fire. Like, you'll just go firing bombs away. But he is the heart and soul of that team, in my opinion. The other thing is that, although Memphis lost, and they did play well without Ja, we know they're not better without Ja. And although they were 20-5, Ja in the first three of the first 4 games led all scorers. He was simply amazing, targeting Steph and Jordan Poole on these switches, really hunting them. But Game 6, Clay, as always, shows up in that game, saving Steph again.
Jackson, Tyson, Jordan, Game 6, the iciest IG story of all time.
And then Kayvon Looney having 22 rebounds. Now, do the Grizzlies need to have another star, need to trade for another star or acquire one? I think it's a little bit too early. I think we're a year away from it because it really depends. For one, Tyus Jones and Kyle Anderson are leaving. They're not coming back. They're free agents. I believe they're going to go. And quite frankly, the Grizzlies don't really need them because of Kyle Anderson. You can't really play Xavier Tillman what he should play. Zaire Williams, now heading into his sophomore season, should demand more minutes. And if you bring back Kyle Anderson, that's probably not going to happen. Tyus Jones, that loss is going to hurt. But you can have somebody like DeAnthony Melton fill in that role, and I think Memphis can be fine. It's really on Jaren Jackson Jr. And this is what I've been saying. I've been saying that Memphis won't take that leap until Jaren Jackson takes that leap. This year, he took that leap in terms of being in a DPOY conversation, but he still gets into foul trouble way too often. All the time he's in foul trouble, so he has to clean up that. And he's not an efficient 3-point shooter. In his first couple of seasons, he was shooting 37 or 38% from 3. Now he's down to 32, 33%. He has to become an efficient 3-point shooter.
It takes horrible
and really start becoming that second go-to option behind Ja. Him being ineffective in the Timberwolves series is what cost the Grizzlies the most in that series, if I'm just being honest. And then it's really about Zaire Williams. The reason they gambled on him at the 10th overall pick was because they saw him being maybe a star in the near future, possibly. I know this year his role was a 3-and-D player, but I don't believe that's his maximum value. I think they believe Zaire Williams can hopefully develop into a much better player, and he can at least get close to that, like similar to like a Desmond Bane. But that's what the key is for Memphis. They still finished second in the Western Conference, but they need these guys to improve, and we all know it really depends on Ja's health, because
For sure.
this team is not going to win on star power. It's going to win on a well-run team that has a lot of continuity and chemistry. And Zach Kleiman has already said that, Robert Pera is willing to open up the checkbook and bring back everybody. So ownership is on board to spend whatever to have this team win. So it's really on the players these guys draft to now develop and take that next step. And that's Zaire Williams. That's Desmond Bane. That's Jaren Jackson Jr. That's these other guys that really have to step up and take that next step.
Is Desmond Bane the second best shooter in the NBA?
No.
Who's number 2?
Damn, I wish I.
It's on the spot. It's on the spot, so I understand you think about it.
Yeah, I wish I would have thought about it.
Because that was his quote. He said, "Outside of Steph Curry, I'm the second best shooter in the NBA. I'm confident about
paying
that."
homage to the GOAT.
I mean, bro, he is lights out.
I got it. Damn, I got to see another year.
Are you taking okay? Are you taking
another-
Dame? Or are you taking Desmond?
Dame? Takes harder threes.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Damn.
That's a conversation. You give respect to Dame, so fine. I don't mind that. I don't mind it.
That's tough, bro. I don't know. He's top 5.
He shoots he is insane.
He's top 5. He's definitely top
Fine,
5.
that's a lock.
He's top 5.
That's a lock.
Damn. I wish if you would have asked me this last year, I would have said Duncan Robinson.
Of course, but that is out the window.
Joe Harris.
If you'd have
Okay,
asked me, I would've
fine.
said Joe.
I'll let him come back because his
I would've said
percentages
Joe.
are insane.
KD.
I go Bane, respectfully.
I don't think that's respectfully.
No, it is. I mean, Desmond Bane really, he's got a crazy
Are you
jumper.
accounting for difficulty in this or just spot up?
You let the ball go from the 3-point range. More often than not, it's going in.
You think if KD had the same threes as Bane, his percentage is the same?
Yeah, I might.
Probably, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I might lean KD. That's no knock on
Yeah,
Bane.
no, I mean it's Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that's he's top 5. Bane is
Okay,
top 5.
all right.
I don't know about 2, but he's definitely top 5. Yeah,
Westbrook?
Okay. Yeah, I know. You ever notice how Desmond Bane has little arms, but he's mad strong?
Yo, he's ocked.
Yeah,
He is.
He does have really short arms.
really short little arms, right?
Somebody said that he was the option on 2K where he shortened up his arms all the way to shoot better.
Look, I won't go off topic, but that's funny. That's funny.
Oh my god, because that's really a fact in 2K. The lesser your arms are, the better shooter you are.
Really?
Yeah, it's really stupid
if
as hell.
you
didn't know
make your
that.
arms short as hell, it ups your 3-pointer by like plus 8, 10
And if you
attributes.
put your
Why?
arms long,
Yeah.
it makes your layups go up, but it makes your jump shot go. I don't know.
That's weird.
It is.
That's how
Interesting.
people build in 2K up.
Okay, I didn't know that. I haven't
Do y'all
played
think
2K
Bane
in
can
mad
become
long.
an all-star?
Close to it,
He,
but I don't
he has
really
that.
think
He
can.
has that potential. It's like if you think Tyler Herro could be an all-star, then you
I
got to
don't.
think Desmond Bane. Ooh, okay.
I don't.
You don't think he could be like a one-time all-star?
I feel like we throw all-star too much.
No,
around. It's
that's not
that many-
necessarily
it's not that many
true.
all-stars
That's
in the
not that
league, bro.
necessarily true.
There's not that many all-stars in the league. I don't think Tyler would be an all-star. I think he is.
He just averaged 22 coming off the bench.
It was 20.
Apologize. I thought it was 22.
I was being a
truthfully.
smart ass. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. I mean, listen, if Hero's name's being thrown in the conversation of being an all-star, I'm gonna throw Desmond's in there.
You
But
think Desmond Bane's better than Tyler Herro?
he is.
He's on par at least.
I think he's
I
better
would
than
I would
Tyler
lean
Herro.
Desmond Bane, but I mean that. Are you gonna call me crazy
I
for
think-
taking him over Tyler
I think
Herro?
you're making this. It doesn't need to be. I think Desmond Bane is better than Tyler Herro.
Defensively, come on, it's not a conversation.
What's a? I don't.
Tyler Herro is a good offensive scorer for sure, but Desmond Bane can do it both ways. He's a better shooter than him too.
Who? Oh,
yes, Desmond
Herro?
Bane's a better shooter.
Oh yeah,
than
yeah,
Herro.
yeah.
Duh.
It's like I don't know. Like we look at all stars, right?
You're a
like,
Hero supporter.
You guys just sucking Desmond Bane right now.
Yo, bro.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
I don't know. I'm like, I
like
look,
y'all acting like he's way better than Tyler Herro.
No,
I'm not saying he's
what?
way- I just said-
like I
This
look
guy
at-
doesn't listen to you when you speak sometimes, really. I literally said it's a conversation I
The
would
way you're
lean Bane.
describing it is like it's not even a conversation. For one,
Defensively?
I think Tyler Herro is a better offensive player. That's not even close.
I'm with you. Yes, he can score in different
No,
facets.
he can handle the ball better. He can play make better.
I think Chris Middleton's a low tier all star, right? Like a low end
Yeah,
all
he
star.
is. That's literally what I think Desmond Bane's ceiling is, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Tyler Herro's ceiling is higher than Chris Middleton.
no,
So then why are you saying all-star?
but that's what I mean,
We call everybody in the world an all-star. Any guy who just puts up 20 points, all-star. And it's like, I hear you, but Jordan Clarkson can put up around the same production as Tyler Herro, bro. But we wouldn't call him an all-star.
no.
We wouldn't.
No, he can't, bro.
He averages 18.
You're disrespectful, yo.
It's not,
I know you are being a little disrespectful.
No, I'm not saying
Jordan
Jordan Clarkson is better.
Is it like me saying De'Aaron Fox is an all-star? Like you're gonna look at me like I have four heads? No.
Is he an all-star?
I mean, yes, right? He's an all-star caliber player.
We're talking about somebody who averages 18 a game.
Oh, no, I'm definitely not saying Jordan Clarkson. That's what I'm
We're
trying to
talking
say
about
to him.
Desmond Bane. He's not an all-star.
No, not yet, but we're saying what's his ceiling? Yeah.
The only way he will ever be an all-star.
Was that not the question? What's his ceiling?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
The only way he will ever be an all-star is if the Memphis Grizzlies are the 1 seed and he's the second leading scorer on that team.
So
therefore, by default,
So what
he
he could
becomes
be.
an
So
all-star.
Tyler Herro just averaged 22. They were the number 1 seed, and he didn't sniff an all-star. So when is he going to get
Didn't
it?
sniff as strong. He was
It's
definitely
because he
in
was a 6 man,
consideration.
though. If he's a starter and does that, it's looked at much differently.
Maybe.
Has there ever been a 6 man to make the All-Star game? Lou
Did
Will.
Lou
didn't
Will?
even
I
do
was
it
going to say.
with the Clippers.
Yeah.
That was one of the bigger snubs at the time.
That is true. Lou Will clears, by
And
the way.
he had a better season that year than Tyler Herro was having right now. So
That's true.
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know, man. I look at Tyler. I don't look at Tyler Herro as big as you guys.
I mean, listen.
He's a good player, though.
I agree. That's facts.
I don't look at what you see. He's a walking.
It's not what I see. I'm realistic about who he is, but you are a bit disrespectful about
I'm
it.
not disrespectful.
Again,
Do you think
just saying someone's better is apparently disrespectful?
No, not
Talk
really.
to me. Let him explain.
Because I know
Talk to
how
me.
Riv thinks,
Yeah,
and I
talk
know
to me.
how he feels.
Go ahead.
For one, I feel like you think like Jordan Poole and Tyrese Maxey are like on this different tier than Tyler Herro. I think you do. You're probably saying no right now.
Those
but you
four
probably
are all in
saying
a
that.
tier together, in my
I
opinion.
agree, but I think Jordan.
Desmond Bane's, I think, like a notch below.
What are you on? What are you on?
That is
that
pretty
is weird.
It's kind of weird.
I think he's
You talk about
below
it in terms of potential, or in terms of like what they play right now.
potential.
Oh.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Okay, fair. I thought I had to make sure. Okay, so you believe that I think Maxey
Desmond
and
Bane's
Poole,
a notch below Tyler
I think
Herro.
you think Maxey clears.
Hero?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
I do believe that.
That's just not true.
I do
He
believe
doesn't
that because
clear
I think Tyler Herro, out of all of them, is the biggest cone in the world. That's why. Like that's what I think. He's literally a parked
Defense is
car.
huge.
He's a defensive liability on any team he plays for, on anybody he guards. I'm talking about he can guard Kyle Lowry. He is a defensive liability, like Kyle Lowry right now. That's why I look at him like, I mean, yeah, he can score 20. A lot of guys can, right?
You act like Jordan Poole doesn't get hunted down, though.
Jordan Poole does. That's why I didn't say his name.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure.
No, that's why I didn't say
I
his
feel like
name at
you
all.
think Jordan Poole clears too, though.
I think he clears because of the organization of where he's at. That's why I think he clears.
Ceiling wise, you're saying
Warriors
Yeah,
versus the Heat. Are you serious?
Are you?
Yeah,
What
are you-
is
whoa.
what player outside of D Wade has the Heat drafted that's turned into a superstar or an all-star? You can't think
When have
right
they
now.
had the top pick?
Bam.
Which is why I'm saying I trust the Warriors in their development of Poole. The Heat develop good role
Are you
players,
going to allow me to say Bam?
and we haven't.
Justice
seen the
Winslow
All-Star
is the only one I can
I
think
thought he
of.
didn't.
That
That's what I'm saying.
didn't pan out.
Miami
didn't.
adapts good role players.
Okay.
The Warriors create stars.
What about Wiseman?
Wiseman is in gear 2.
Come
You
on.
think he'll be a star? You think they're going to create him?
I think he
Kaminga,
could be
can
Andrew Bogut.
Kaminga be a star?
Andrew.
I think he'd be Andrew Bogut.
Well, Kuminga had the star potential before he went to Golden State. He could have went
And so did
anywhere.
Wiseman.
You're a liar. You're about to lie.
Kuminga?
You're about to say Kuminga could have went anywhere and got that same
Wait,
potential.
wait,
You're about
wait,
to
wait,
lie.
so
because you know
let's-
that's not
let's be-
true. You know
before-
he wouldn't have reached that potential
before-
in Orlando. You know that.
Before I make this statement,
You're about to cap.
when we were doing our draft
And who did we
scouting,
say? Who was the team
Can
we
I
said?
finish?
Go ahead,
Can
go
I
ahead.
finish?
He's about to cap.
Before, when we were doing our draft scouting, were we not on the same page about him going to Toronto and that's the best spot?
Because they're the best what? Because they're one of the best what?
Developmental
Okay, but
teams,
you just said Kuminga could have went anywhere. You know that's cap.
Well, most teams, he would, bro. If
Like who?
Kuminga, we knew had star potential though, bro.
in the right situation because he was raw. We
No,
said that.
we
We
said-
said that.
That
Okay.
is what was said.
There's a difference though. whether you believe he will develop into a star is different than saying he has star potential.
That's my whole point.
Anywhere he went, he would have had that potential.
Yeah,
still.
but that's my whole point with Poole. His situation is why I deem him. He's going to be better down the road than Herro because of where he's being developed and who he's being developed under.
Yeah, but I also think Miami is a great developmental place. Bam became a star. He didn't have people didn't think he was going to be a star out of college. They didn't think he was going to be this good.
Defensive star.
Yeah, but he's an all-star. He's an all-star player.
Okay.
They developed him to an all-star. It's okay, so let's not act like Miami's just this place that people don't develop.
No, I said they develop good role players. They do. They developed Duncan Robinson. Cool. Gabe Vincent. Awesome. Max Strus. Okay.
Tyler Herro.
Cool.
You don't think Tyler Herro, I think right now he's an ascending star player. Like, that he's a young star.
Do you think they're calling Poole Steph Curry Jr., bro? Do you not understand the type
that's just the hype that he's getting.
That's
right
just
now.
It's a different.
That's
like
also
he's
'cause
playing
he's in Golden
under.
State.
Like you don't think if Tyler Herro was playing under Klay Thompson, you don't think he would develop better than playing behind Duncan Robinson?
Yeah, he would, but slightly. Like I think Miami has developed him great.
We'll
like
see.
what? Like
we'll see down the road.
He has improved.
Him
his scoring
going
every single
to
season.
Golden State, is that going to make him an elite great defender or a good one? I don't know. If you don't think he's good, if you don't think he's going to be that within the Heat, if he's not that within the Heat culture,
it's true.
How would he be that within the Golden State Warriors culture?
It's not like Spoke is a bum. We know he's not.
He's not a bum.
Of course.
Do you think Eric Spoelstra is a better coach than Steve Kerr?
Yes. All right, I'm just making.
Do I think anybody on? Do I think?
I'm just saying you'd like just compare the situations. Like we're not comparing two great organizations.
Yeah, we're comparing an organization that builds up good role players and another organization that builds up stars.
It's that simple.
It's like you're trying to go.
Well, the Warriors built up 3 stars.
Yeah,
and Steph, Clay, and Dre.
Yeah,
and the Miami Heat have built up Bam and Tyler Herro's ascending into that.
To what?
A star.
Okay, I almost had a stroke.
Answer this question right now. Don't lie. Do either one of them have more potential than Jonathan Kuminga? Answer that right now.
No. But Kuminga's, we knew he was that though, bro.
We knew he was raw.
There wasn't something that.
And then when he got picked at the Golden State, what did we say that day?
That was a great situation for him.
Great situation because of why?
But let me say this:
it was very fortunate.
If Kuminga had gone to OKC, he would have been in the Rookie of the Year race.
What?
He
barely can dribble right now.
He would have been in the Rookie of the Year race.
How?
To OKC.
How?
I just believe that. I believe that.
You don't believe that?
Yes, I do believe that.
You don't.
Yes, I do.
Kuminga can barely dribble right now.
He's still a very good roller, bro.
Who's passing him the ball?
Well, OKC would have
Shea. Facts.
Shea got hurt. He played 35 games.
All right. Well, if they had Kuminga, they wouldn't have Josh Giddey, so you're lucky here.
Yeah, I know.
But still, Josh Giddey would have been a great passer. But I'm just saying,
Pandora's box, but we're changing a lot of things. Who knows if Shea gets hurt, right? If Kuminga goes there, we're changing a lot of variables. No Giddey hurt. No Giddey.
Let's not act like.
But then, do you guys get Giddey?
I don't know.
But I'm just saying, bro. Let's not act like we knew Kuminga had the star potential. Like, okay, is he developing into probably the player he should become with the Warriors? Yeah, but at the end of the day, Kuminga is not a finished product, so we don't know if under the Warriors he'll develop into a star. He might just develop into a very serviceable player.
But we always said for Kuminga it was right situation.
Yeah,
and it was either for us, the Warriors or Toronto. Right situation. It had to be that. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Like right situation. But we'll see about young Tyler Herro. Though he's been a little bit shaky in the playoffs, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Mr. 20 points. We'll see how it goes.
Mr. 20
it's a good 20 points though.
Is he doing it in the playoffs?
We'll see.
We had a second? Didn't you say this was going to be his playoffs? He was 1-1. He shitted the bed last year. He played good in the bubble. This was year 3.
You know what's the thing? The thing, bro, is that I defended Tyler Herro this entire season because I just feel like you are a bit too.
I'm low on him.
Disrespectful to Tyler Herro. Not only that, but you are very biased against him.
Why am I biased?
I don't know if he's biased against him. You have called him Jack Harlow on multiple occasions. The points you use against Tyler Herro are stuff that you use in the benefit of other young players.
Like who?
That's what I've been noticing.
Like who?
Well, about the Jordan Poole, Tyler Herro situation thing when they're damn near both great situations in organizations. Like
we know,
I don't think that, but
that's not a good.
That's not a good counterpoint though.
But I didn't bring up Poole. You brought up Poole.
No, but he was saying
You were
to his
comparing
point.
Poole, Maxey, and
No,
you
but you
asked me.
said Maxey and Herro. He said Maxey, but then you said you think that Poole clears, and he says I only think Poole clears because of the situation. That was it.
Yeah, which I don't know how that makes much sense.
Just because, let's just be honest, the Warriors with Steph, Clay, and Draymond, these guys are not forced automatically into the spotlight to have to do everything. They're learning.
Tyler Herro wasn't either.
But I'm just saying, no, but he's asked to do a little bit. The pressure's higher on Herro than it is on Poole. That's facts.
Facts.
Yeah, because they rely
Because
on
he
him
needs to be the
offensively.
second best scorer on their team if they want a chance to win the championship.
They rely on him
Poole can
offensively
be
more.
the fourth.
Third.
Wiggins still you have to respect.
Come on, bro.
I'm
You
just
serious?
saying as a scorer. Yes.
Offensively, it's Steph, Clay, Jordan Poole. It's not.
I
Wiggins
agree.
Is not in that top three.
I say that Jordan Poole needs to be number 3 if they want to win a championship
All right.
comfortably. Fine, but it could be a time where Wiggins is the third best scorer, and they still could win, and it's not that huge of a deal.
Maybe on like putbacks and stuff.
Because let's be honest, is the blame going on Poole? No, it's going on Steph.
Well, it depends
or Clay.
how he plays. Like if Poole has a stinker,
He
people
didn't
will
play
definitely-
good against Memphis. Nobody said a word.
That's my point exactly.
Nobody said a word because it doesn't matter.
My point is
He gets to
their
develop
time in the
comfortably.
Sun's gonna come, but right now it's not, and they're still getting playoff experience, and they're learning
All right,
behind one
but-
of the greatest ever.
One guy getting more blame than the other doesn't answer the question of why you're picking one guy.
He's
Of
saying
the organization.
situation.
I'm saying it's not only is Miami and the Warriors both have great development teams, but the reason why I put the Warriors over because not only do they have great development team, they have the proper veterans there. That's why I'm saying not only the proper veterans, but veterans that play
We got a
to
little off
Poole's strength. You know,
No, we
that's
did.
that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. They have stepped. They have the greatest shooting backcourt
You're
ever.
saying that, but the Miami Heat, they don't have the star that Steph is because
They
we
don't
know
have-
they don't have that.
They don't have the vets like the Warriors.
They do have vets.
They don't have the vets like
throughout-
the Warriors.
And throughout the
But who?
and throughout the Heat's time,
Who's the vets on the
they've
Who's
had
the vets on the Heat right
I'm
now?
talking about
PJ
for-
Tucker
we're
not a
we're
vet.
talking about for Tyler
Is
Fine.
Kyle Lowry not a vet?
What is he really doing right now? What's he
Are you
really doing
serious,
right now?
bro?
I'm being
For
serious.
Tyler,
Herro?
for one, he's hurt.
And he's been very MIA for the Heat right now. Fine, he's hurt,
I mean,
but what is
he's
he doing
been-
for
he's
them?
been
if
hurt.
you're gonna name PJ Tucker, I can name Andre Iguodala. That's 4.
That's facts.
Okay, that's cool.
That's
But
4.
I'm just saying,
Okay,
Jimmy Butler's a vet too,
Draymond
though.
Green.
I didn't say Jim.
Draymond
but
Green
you're
trumps
if we're comparing vets,
everyone.
we know Warriors clear. Come on.
Yeah, but maybe by like 1-2 guys. But that doesn't change the fact
But
that
Draymond's the biggest vet there is, right? And what does he mean in the locker room?
So really, what you're telling me is that based on the number of vets a player has,
Bro, we just give you
you are
like 3. No,
projecting-
bro, we're giving you 3 different types of examples of why we're saying this situation works. So now you're saying, oh, so you're telling me this?
No, the first example
so
was
you're
pressure.
telling me this?
No, the first example was
Correct.
pressure.
I didn't say
So
anything about pressure.
you said that.
Yeah, he said
so because
it's beneficial.
So because of the pressure, because Tyler Herro has more pressure, that's why you put Jordan Poole over.
If you
And
want
then
to
you're
take
telling
it
me,
under a
because
microscope of what I'm saying.
because Jordan Poole has more vets. Oh, that's why he's better than Tyler Herro. It just
But
doesn't
nobody-
make sense.
The development-
That's
Wait,
not an
no,
argument.
that's-
to me, bro.
Wait.
Sorry.
But nobody one time has said Jordan Poole was better than
Let's-
Tyler Herro.
Okay, I know. But this is basically like the crux of the argument, though, bro. That's what
We're
we're
talking
talking
about
about.
the
That's the
potential.
core
We're
of it.
saying the ceiling.
So you're telling me his potential is higher
No,
because he has less
Poole is
pressure
going to reach
and he
his
has more
potential.
vets.
Poole's going to reach his potential because of the vets. We don't know if Tyler Herro's going to.
We don't know if he's going to reach his potential just because of the vets. We don't know that. That's also
we're
hypothetical.
speculating. That's what we do here. We speculate.
But that's also that
we're not
Luka had no vets in Dallas and he
was
reached
a-
his
come
potential.
on.
But I'm just saying,
Stop.
we can go through every situation. Just because you have vets doesn't mean you're going to reach that. Like,
But you said Luka.
okay, but we
That
can
was an
also name
unfair-
all-star players,
Name
though.
him. That one was
Devin
unfair.
Booker.
Devin Booker.
Zach LaVine, did he have any vets in Chicago? What about Donovan Mitchell in Utah's rookie year? Leading it.
when
I
he
mean,
was 24?
No, I mean in Minnesota. My bad.
Oh.
But we know he ascended in Chicago.
Yeah, Minnesota.
When
No.
with garbage around him though,
Minnesota, no.
and neither in Chicago.
Well, is Tyler Herro going to be Devin Booker?
I'm not saying he's gonna be that, but
I
I'm saying
understand,
the
but I'm-
argument of vets is just doesn't make sense, bro.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, Jordan Poole went from late draft pick, G League, to now starting on a possible championship team.
The only thing
But
I'm
yeah,
saying,
you don't see the development. You just keep talking
no,
about.
I see the development.
But Tyler
I see
Herro
the
was a
development.
top pick. He's already been in a good situation. Jordan Poole literally just went from G League to starting.
Now we're
for
talking about stories, though.
No,
like,
that's development.
But he's
That's
talking about
literally
development.
development.
bro. That's
development.
yes,
that's
that-
development.
That is development.
That's
But
development.
That's development. But at the same time, just because he developed at that pace doesn't mean that warrants him over Tyler Herro. That's what I'm saying.
I guess. I mean, I'm still going.
And that still doesn't mean that the Warriors are far better at developing than the Heat. Like
I think they're better. I think they're better at developing stars, which has been clear and obvious. They didn't develop Jimmy Butler. He went there. They developed Bam, but Bam is still. We don't know what Bam.
I mean, the Warriors are a dynasty because of Steph, Clay, and Dre.
Development,
and those were the stars.
Drafted right.
Yeah. But was that really the development of the stars or just Steph being a generational player?
Are you sure?
It's a little bit of both.
Really?
The system definitely helped him in his offensive skill set.
Steph being a generational player at 26 was a little bit of both.
It definitely was.
What about Draymond?
Clay?
If it wasn't for Steve Kerr, Draymond does not become that player.
So development.
Just because that's what they ran with the offense.
That's a fact.
Development, but system and fit.
Which is
system and
development.
Fit, and adaptation by Draymond to buy in.
Which
so
is development.
A system that Jordan Poole is in.
What does that have to do with Draymond and the fit, the system scheme?
Jordan Poole is on this team. What do you mean, what does it have to do with?
No, we're talking about, because he's talking about how the Warriors have developed the stars.
Correct.
But I think
Jordan Poole's on this team.
Steph would have probably been an all-star anywhere.
Would he been a superstar, a top 12 player ever? Yeah,
that's hard. I mean, for somebody to be
tough,
that, there's a lot of variables
early in his career also. The ankle,
bro. But for that to happen, a lot of variables have to go right in your favor.
That's true. But
like the right coach, the right system, the right scheme.
Nobody thought Steph was going to be a superstar-like player when he came out. Nobody thought that.
No, because he was the biggest risk in that draft because of nobody's seen it before.
Nobody's seen Dre being a DPOY, even starting in the league.
Mark Jackson didn't see it either.
Klay Thompson
That's what I'm saying. So it's like
the second best shooter of all
you can
time.
say that, but it's development, bro. The Warriors have just developed great. So
yeah, but when it comes to things like that, bro, it's really a combination of both. Like it's a combination of development, but also those players having it in them to become that.
You don't think Jordan Poole has that?
To be what?
I don't know. You tell me.
I think he can be a very good player. Like I think,
like whatever you think Herro can be, right?
Yeah, I mean, Herro and Jordan Poole to me, I view both as low end all stars or guards that can average 19 to 23 in a season. But do I think Jordan Poole's like the next Steph or whatever?
No. Are you saying that? Do you think that? Okay, I don't think anyone was saying that.
I know, but people have said it, but about Jordan Poole, which I'm saying like
next Steph.
I think they are in the same tier. To me, Tyler Herro, Jordan Poole are in. Those three guys,
the four that we mentioned.
Not even Desmond Bain. Not
See,
even.
This is where
He's
you lose me.
Tier.
You're losing me.
But this is my tier. This is my list.
But you say I'm being disrespectful to Herro, but you're being blatantly disrespectful to Desmond Bain,
bro. Because I feel like this is what he's showing me right now is what I think.
In year 2,
he's 23, bro.
Like enough of this.
He's gonna be like 23 at the start next season. Oh my God,
bro, you're annoying with that. It really bothers me when you do that. Bro,
Desmond Bain has been in the league for 2 years. Tyler Herro's been in the league for 3 years, and Tyler Herro's younger, about like 2 years.
Wow.
That's one. I mean, we've seen one off seasons of a full training camp in summer changes a player's entire game.
So Desmond Bain's gonna get one of those.
No, but I'm saying those 1 to 2 years mean a lot, and the younger you are, the chances are you have more room to grow.
I'm tired of this age benefit when you're younger. I'm tired of it.
All right. Well,
on
to the next topic. We got very sidetracked. So does Giannis deserve a pass for losing against the Celtics? We know that the Bucks lost Game 7, 109-81. Wasn't much of a contest, and Giannis missed a lot of layups and hook shots. He wasn't the usual efficient Giannis. And Riv, I believe I saw you tweet something that you thought Giannis severely underperformed, and you were very disappointed in his performance.
Did I actually tweet that?
No. But Drew, I know you did, so you can go first.
No, I didn't.
I know you did it. You gave Giannis his props, right?
You did? Yeah. Fuck no. No. We're not going to do that. No. Nobody gets a pass.
Why?
Nobody gets a pass.
Even without Middleton, no one gets a pass?
I don't care about that.
Taking Boston 7, who really could go to the championship and win it all.
Congratulations to Boston.
Yeah, smart.
You gotta pay your. I said congratulations to Miami. I'm gonna say congratulations to Boston. They made it to the ECF. Congratulations. That's impressive. You did your thing. You beat Giannis. Let's get on to Giannis though. Let's dig in deep to that. Giannis, he played amazing. You can play amazing and choke. I fully believe that you can be incredible but choke. And in Game 6, in the fourth quarter, that's what he did. He choked. Not just on offense, but getting beat by Al Horford and Grant Will in the perimeter, that's also choking. missing jump shots, blatant mid-range jump shot that you've improved on this year, that's choking. Let's get on to game 7.
You're being very critical,
Let's get on to game 7. Game 7 was embarrassing.
It was.
Second half, like Joel said, missing layups, point-blank layups, missing jump shots. It's like...
What about his supporting cast?
Oh, I'm going to get there.
Who went 4 for 30 what? 4 for 30 something? Couldn't even tell you.
I'm going to get there. Giannis was extremely gassed. Don't get me wrong. The Boston Celtics were elite defense. They put a lot of pressure on him. They also gave him wide open jump shots that he just couldn't hit. But of course, we're gonna let that pass because Giannis is Giannis. Giannis is still one of the best players in the NBA. But I just feel like Drew, you're the main advocate of this.
Okay.
People knocked Kevin Durant last year, Game 7 in Brooklyn, because he went 0 for 8 in overtime, right? Even though he was going absolutely insane. And even before that was going insane Game 6 and Game 5. But people knocked him. Even though Harden was on a hamstring injury, Kyrie got hurt, people still knocked Kevin Durant. Why? Because in overtime, when you needed your guy to still be that guy, he came up short. So I don't feel like in this situation, even let's bring it back. James Harden, Game 6 against the Warriors in the second half. Steph Curry has 0 points. This is your opportunity to steal that game. Even Game 5, Harden choked. He played amazing in the series. Don't get me wrong. He choked. Even before that year, Kevin Durant, they missed 27 threes. Harden played amazing in the series, but he choked. He gets the blame. You can be as great as these players are. You can be amazing in a series. Giannis damn near averaged 40 points, 13. He was amazing. His splits were freaking terrible. He shot a 44, 25, 60 split.
46.
That's horrible for Giannis.
On a ridiculous amount of attempts as well.
And on top of that, I don't think like this really, a lot of it goes to Giannis because at the same time, I get it. The defense was aggressive, but they were leaving him wide open. They even gave him a lot of mid-range jump shots. He has to be able to hit those shots continuously. He's not going to be able to run people over for the rest of his career. He's not going to be. His body isn't going to hold up, and that's not a testament to him. That's just father time. He has to develop that consistent mid range. He did improve in the regular season. He did, but he did not show that in the playoffs. He definitely deserves some blame. Not all the blame. His role players play like shit. Drew Holiday was also another one who was gassed. He has to go guard 2 of the best players on the team and then go give you that offense. He gets some of the blame, but also, missing Middleton. Their half-court offense showed that they really need Middleton. Their half-court offense was abysmal. They needed Middleton. He's one of those guys that can create. He's a 3-level scorer. He can create opportunities for Giannis in the pick and roll. He's a guy that's also a spot-up shooter that can get you looks, and he's one of their clutchest players on the team. They obviously missed him. But at the same time, I'm looking at the Bucks and I'm looking at Budenholzer. He still makes no adjustments. He's what the guy is. We're going to live and die by this situation. And that letting threes fly, Grant Williams shot 40% on the season. I don't know why you went into that game plan thinking I'm going to let him shoot, especially corner threes. He can hit those. But the Bucks front office needs to go, and I feel like Wesley Matthews, as great as he played on defense, he's cooked, man. He's 36, bro. You need to go in there. You need to get better players than George Hill and Wesley Matthews. You need to go and get some better 3-and-D wings, some guys that can guard multiple positions, can hit three-pointers, and that are a little bit younger than 36, 35. But shout out to Giannis and Drew. They gave their best efforts, but in the end, Boston just wore him down, tired him out. But, yeah, Giannis does deserve some of the blame because as great as he played, he still came up short in those moments. And we done did it to LeBron. We done did it to Kevin Durant. We done did it to James Harden. We done did it to all the great players, Kobe. Giannis doesn't get to fly by that radar. If those great players got dissed, Giannis is going to get some of the blame too.
At this table, did any of us disrespect KD for his performance against Milwaukee last year?
You did.
No, I did not.
Yeah, you did. You say choked. You didn't disrespect his performance, but you said he choked. You did say he choked.
He hit the game-tying shot.
And then you said he didn't score in the fourth in the overtime.
I mean, that's not incorrect.
He was 0 for 6 in that period.
He was bad in overtime.
And Giannis was bad in the fourth.
It does not take away
in the second
how
half,
great he was.
He was bad in this entire second half.
I'm with you. I'm not going to say you're wrong there because first half he put almost a triple-double in the first quarter.
And then folded after that.
He definitely did not play well in the second half at all. It was the worst we've seen Giannis in a very long time. Listen, he struggled against this Celtics defense to a degree, but even still, you had several moments throughout this series where Giannis Antetokounmpo was able to just lower his shoulder, get to the rim, and he would dominate the game. There was moments where in Game 5 where they're down 6, Giannis, we're talking about how his shooting has been very inconsistent, hits the biggest three of the game that draws him within 3.
They left him open.
Correct, but he still made it. What?
I know, but they left him open.
See, that's just something I can't sit with because it's still not. He's not a 3-point shooter.
No, that's a clutch shot.
Okay, yes,
but they left him wide open.
Talk about him getting beat by Al Horford and Grant Williams on the perimeter in Game 6. Talk about that.
There's
Mr.
there's
DPOY. We
talk about Game 4. Al Horford dropped 30.
Al Horford, he balled all series.
No. We clown Rudy Gobert because he can't guard the perimeter, right? That's what we do. This is a guy who's won defensive player 3 times in a year.
Listen,
and he can't guard the perimeter. Yet we've seen Giannis a lot get cooked on that perimeter, and nobody says a word about it.
We've been saying it for a little while. We've been saying it for a little while.
Don't give him a pass just because he can listen.
But man,
he's the top 2 player in the world to me, but he doesn't get a pass. He can't. If LeBron didn't,
so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a quick question.
I didn't even get. I got like a second.
You'll get to finish your point, but just a quick question. I'm sorry, Drew. All right, Giannis versus the Bucks this year, or KD versus
Giannis versus Celtics? I understand.
Giannis versus the Celtics these playoffs in this series, or KD last year versus the Bucks, who had a better series?
KD
easily.
Yeah,
we're all admitting that KD easily had the better series.
Kyrie goes down. Okay. Harden goes out second into the game. Harden comes back on a grade 2. He brings them into overtime. It was unbelievable.
So how come KD gets labeled as he chokes and all this other stuff when he goes 0 for 6 in overtime in Game 7?
Which is not
but
good.
Giannis plays bad for an entire second half, is missing layups, bunnies, all that other stuff, and everybody's all anybody's saying is he's the first player to have 200 points, 100 rebounds, and 50 assists in a series. Oh my God, best player in the world still.
Do you want to know why it is?
Please don't forget Game 6.
You're not gonna like the answer at all. But this is just the reality. KD leaving the Warriors still has something to prove in the eyes of the general media, right? And in most people's minds, KD, people believe, has something to prove since leaving the Warriors. He needs to prove that. As the guy, he can get it done. That's why when you go 0 for 6 in overtime, even though you had an unbelievable series, you hit one of the clutchest shots of your career to send it into overtime, you go 0 for 6, people are looking at that. Giannis, although, you look on the other side, he had won a championship with Milwaukee as the guy.
Which is looking a little funny, but yeah.
Fine, right? Because now we can look at it in hindsight, fine. But Giannis proved as the guy, he can get it done and win a championship. He's not under that same microscope that KD is because KD understands, well, I don't know if he understands, but the vast majority of people that judge KD's performances understand that he is still not acknowledged and stamped in his resume because he hasn't had something accomplished outside of Golden State.
What I got from what you said is that people hated on Kevin Durant because they don't like Kevin Durant. And people are backing Giannis and making all these excuses for him because they like him.
I don't know.
They were like unfair towards KD.
They like the story.
The narrative.
They love the story of Giannis.
And that's why I said, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. But that's the truth. That's the matter of fact.
Well, this is why we're not the media. So continue your little monologue.
Giannis without Middleton, his Robin, his guy that he could rely to in closing moments was not there. And even still, he forced the team that I believe is going to win the finals to 7. And although, listen, I still believe that there were moments where Celtics could have finished this series a lot earlier, but they choked. That's credit to Giannis.
Okay, so Giannis without his Robin folded in the 4th.
And 3rd. He did not play well in the second half.
In Game 6, he folded in the 4th.
That's so. But why
offense and defense? He's a two-way. You love two-way.
Yeah, I'm with you. Defensively, there's no excuse for him getting beat.
But yet, the Joker gets destroyed on national media when he doesn't have his second or third guy. Yet he backpacks.
Do you think that who really destroyed Jokic?
The national media.
Who's
the national media?
Forget about the national
Kevin Durant gets destroyed because he didn't have his second or third guy.
Harden was on the court, which is why people don't really think about it too much. But yes, Harden was barely.
Drew Holiday played more games than both of those guys combined.
Correct.
So, like I said, he didn't have.
Is Drew Holiday Harden's caliber?
But we're talking about
that
big
Harden
three.
On the yes.
We're just talking about their big. We're just talking about
that
big
Harden
three.
on the hamstring.
Okay, fine.
We're just talking about big threes. When you have your guys, you feel like you can beat anybody.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Drew Holiday played more games than both of those guys. Kevin Durant still got slandered when he put on a master.
We spoke about it.
Class.
Bucks went.
But you're being I'm not talking about Stephen A, Nick Wright. I'm not talking about the clowns. I'm
just
talking
talking
about you.
Me?
You have not said a word about Giannis's bad performance.
What do you mean?
You are giving him a pass.
No, I'm not.
You are.
I said
You are.
I acknowledged.
I didn't hear you acknowledge
Come on.
it.
What do you got to start using your ears now,
I heard you keep.
Because
all you keep talking about is
how many
the team
times,
went 4 for 30.
How many
That's all you
times
keep talking
have
about.
I said that Giannis played poorly in the third and fourth? How many times have I said that in this conversation right now? A minimum of 3-4 times.
You might have said it once.
Don't play stupid.
You might have said
Don't
it
play
once.
stupid.
You might have said it once.
Because I'm acknowledging Giannis did play poorly. However, in the second half, he played very poorly.
Yeah.
He gave everything he had in this series. He ran out of steam, and his team did not help him.
So he gets the
How
ran
many
out of
games-
steam, but the role players can't get the same thing.
No, they went 4 for 30.
They missed open
That's
shots.
every single.
Giannis missed the same
Exactly.
open shots.
No, but that's
you
not
mean no?
true.
Giannis
Open
missed
shots,
layups.
fair. He did miss. He missed a few.
They're guarding
he
him.
missed a few.
They're giving him so much space. He improved at the mid range, and they're still giving him the mid range.
Dude, he shot 46%.
From the field.
That's not
He's a
horrible.
big
Yes,
man.
it is.
28
As a big man,
for a
it is.
28 attempts
7-footer?
on
Yeah,
28
it is.
attempts a game.
Oh my
It doesn't
God.
matter about the
It's
attempts.
not
It's about
attempts,
the
I'm
bro.
just saying.
Big men shoot
46,
50 and up,
I
bro.
understand.
That's not good,
But
bro.
that's not like he's trying to. He's not that stereotypical big man though. He's still shooting jumpers mid
'Cause
range.
He's wide open though.
I mean, you know what? Keep talking.
Well, I mean, what else is there really to say? I mean, I've said all I've said. You just are thinking differently.
Nah, Rivers just gonna look up the shot chart right now.
Are you? Okay.
And see where he missed from in the game.
From 3-point, he was not that great. He's not a 3-point shooter. He shot 25%.
Not even acknowledging the
Yeah,
three. But just,
dude.
bro.
What he does need to get better at, and that's obvious, is free throw shooting. There's too many times where he's on the road and the pressure's getting to him, and he just misses free throws. That's one thing he needs to improve for sure.
Lethal Shooter said that he wants to get in the gym with Giannis. He thinks
Really?
he could change his jump shot around.
That'd be interesting. I mean,
field goal percentage by distance. 2-pointers in general, he shot 53%. 0 to 3 feet, he shot 83%. Obvious.
It's
So he
Giannis.
dominated.
Of course.
Here we go. 3 to 10, he shot 31% from the field, from 3 to 10 feet. Then from 10 to 16 feet, he shot 31% from the field. But he did from 16 to the 3-point line, he shot 40% from the field. So
Pretty
that's
decent.
that's pretty. I think that's top of the
does
mid
it
range.
show you how many attempts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'll tell you that in a minute.
Thank you.
3-point percentage, he shot 22%.
Yeah, he was
and
not
from the
that great.
corner, he shot 0%.
I mean, he doesn't shoot from the corner often.
Yeah, and then
If he's shooting from top of the key.
percentage of field goals by distance.
Thank
So
you.
2-pointer, 85%.
Mhm.
0 to 3, 35%. 3 to 10, 28%. 10 to 16, 11%. 16 to 3-pointer, 11%, and then 3-pointers, 14%. So from the spaces he takes the most shots, which is 0 to 3, 3 to 10, 10 to 16, he's not good at. He's just not good at. He's below
attempts.
average.
I'm curious.
No, I gave you. They don't give me attempts.
no
Just give me
attempts.
percentages of how many.
All right,
what his
fine.
game
I
is.
mean, listen,
but he
you-
takes most of his shots in the paint.
Of course.
But the next closest is 0 to 3. He's in
Again,
3 to 10. He shoots 31%.
28 attempts, 46%. I understand he's a big man. 28 attempts is a ridiculous amount.
That doesn't matter though. It depends on where you're shooting from. If you're taking 28 shot attempts and 20 of them are in
Tatum
the
was
paint,
taking 28 shot attempts.
I wonder if he was. I can check.
like efficiency, what's good efficiency varies on where you're taking your shots from.
Yep.
And Giannis 44% for where he's taking the
21.
shots is not good.
85% of his shots are in the paint. So if he's taking 28 shots, 21 or 22 of them are in the paint.
You hear me? 21 attempts.
Is it
Tatum?
21 too?
Yes.
Tatum? He never took 29?
I mean, give me 1 sec because I'm looking at his playoff attempts. 21.
Is that the whole playoffs?
Yes.
Oh, that's why.
Giannis's whole playoffs, I don't think he took 28 attempts.
Giannis, the whole playoffs, has taken 24 attempts.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. 28 sounds crazy. Probably, and he shot 26 shots in the game.
28 attempts is the series in Boston.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I got it. Tatum took 32 in Milwaukee, 29 versus Milwaukee, 24 at Milwaukee. So he's taking 18, 20, 19, 24, 29, 32, 14. So when he gets it going, he starts to go up to 28, 29, 30.
Okay.
Hell, the threes, though. 15 threes, 11 threes, 10 threes. Oh, my God.
I was thinking you were going to get ready to give Giannis a pass.
Why'd you think that? I don't give nobody a pass.
You really don't.
I don't give anybody. I didn't even give the Joker a pass. He didn't have his guys. I don't give anybody a pass, bro.
I thought you were going to say you love Giannis.
I'm not a fan of Giannis, but I'm not a hater of Giannis. I'm like in the middle.
Okay.
But nah, he choked. He doesn't get a pass. Game 6, I thought he had
and
it.
yeah, just
The
because,
whole team really just collapsed.
And
That's
people talk about Chris Middleton being out, but last year Nets didn't have Kyrie or James Harden basically.
I'm with you.
Versus the Hawks, they didn't have DeAndre Hunter, and Trae Young only played 4 games too.
Giannis missed games too.
They actually both teams swapped wins without their.
That's
star
insane,
player.
actually.
Yeah, that's pretty.
DeAndre
crazy.
Hunter is huge. Huge loss.
He's not Middleton,
despite their flukiness.
I mean, it's looking like the whole thing last year was just fluky.
It was a shortened
Just a
offseason.
bunch of fluke. Well, not for the Suns. Not for the Suns.
Well, so you're calling the Sun series a fluke?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that now.
Oh.
The Suns, Game 7, embarrassing loss. The Mavericks beat them 123-90 in Game 7. Luka masterclass. I mean, we know he's an all-time great already at this young age. 35 points. Dinwiddie had 30. I remember I told you guys, Dinwiddie was is better than Porzingis.
Points
I told you the trade
better
was
fit.
good.
He's a better
Porzingis,
fit. Yeah.
Dinwiddie and Bertans better than Porzingis. And Brunson had 24. And Luka is just magical. Now, Rev, you said you had a lot to say, so you can go first, and Drew here can speak on the Suns' downfall if he wants to as well.
Last summer, right? We weren't as big as we was today, obviously. Last summer, me and Joel said, Warriors going to the finals, right? This last summer. You said, I might ride with the Lakers, but the Suns were your next team. Obviously, the Lakers were a fanboy pick because there was no way in hell they were going to the finals, right? So we fast forward, we get in here, dig into the season. You ride with the Suns. Suns in the West, they've been the most dominant team. And you weren't wrong. In the regular season, up until Draymond got hurt, after that, they were the most dominant team in the league. They were playing phenomenal, playing impressive basketball. Then they go to play Dallas. I picked Suns in 7. I think you picked Suns in 6
Suns
or 7.
In 7.
So
yeah.
you went for the wild card. You said, you know what? I'm going to trust Luka. I'm going to trust the heliocentric offense. I'm going to go Mavs in 7. Boy, might have been the greatest take of this playoffs this year.
Whoa.
Easily.
Boston? That was a good pick.
That was a elite pick.
It was.
Phoenix.
No, that is because there's no way.
After game 2, Jason Kidd figured it out.
Yep.
He needed 2 games to figure out Monty Williams, Mr. Coach of the Year, almost unanimously, Monty Williams' system. He figured it out after 2 games. Shout out to Dorian Finney-Smith. Shout out to Spencer Dinwiddie.
100%.
Shout out to Jalen Brunson. Shout out to Luka, of course. Shout out to Dwight Powell. Shout out to Maxey Kleber. They didn't let Chris Paul go left. I mean, they made Chris Paul go left all the time. He struggled in his career making passes out the left, getting to his spots out the left. They made him go left. They jumped off the screens. As soon as they set a screen, they're on him. They realized this man is old. We're on him. If he's going to beat us, he's going to beat us, but we're on him. Trap Devin Booker. Devin Booker probably hasn't seen many double teams in his career in the playoffs. They trapped him. Got the ball out of his hands. Mikal Bridges, he needs to work on his offense. Deandre Ayton, force-feeding him isn't going to win the Suns the game, in my opinion. Dallas' defense was great. Offensively, they're a three-point shooting machine. Luka, put everybody in the corner, go to work. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, it didn't really matter. They had nobody to stop him. And it's honestly, a lot of teams should really thank Kawhi because he was the one putting the leash on, stopping Luka from really putting a blueprint on the league. And it's funny because now you look at last year and you look at the season. Kawhi plays, they clearly win the WCF. You know, I think it's pretty obvious at this point. But nonetheless, Phoenix still had an incredible regular season. You know, we can't knock that. 60-plus wins. They made it to the second round. Devin Booker's still young. But like we was watching Monty Williams in the post game, somebody asked him, "You didn't learn from last year?" Like he it was just like weird. Last year they were up 2-0 against the Bucks, lost 4 straight. Mike Budenholzer, I'm not gonna say mid, an above average coach, figured it out after game 2. Giannis, just go, play bully ball. They can't stop you. He did it. I think the Suns will be back next year in terms of they'll still be competitive. I think they still have the blueprint in the regular season to be a dominant regular season team. I think teams like that share the ball, that play defense, that can score the ball at that efficient rate, I think they'll always be great in the regular season. That's why Utah Jazz, I feel like, have been good in the regular season always because they are efficient. They can guard in the regular season. They don't have to see teams back to back to back where they can figure you out. And I think that for that, the Suns will be great in the regular season. But they have a Chris Paul problem in the sense of it's not because he's not an all-time great. Chris Paul is going to go down as one of the 4 best point guards in NBA history. He's 37. Apparently, he has an injury, a leg injury, hamstring, quad. That's not good. That's not a good injury, especially for somebody that's 37. He also didn't play well at all. So now you're looking at your timeline. Devin Booker's young. Ayton is probably gone.
You think gone?
He's leaving.
He's probably gone. Bridges has to get better now. This is not a you can take your time thing now. You have to get better now.
I agree.
And we know what type of player he is.
We do, but I'm just telling what they're thinking. Like Bridges, Bridges has to get better now. Booker has to take another level. I know he might not think there's not another level, but my brother, there is another level to your game that you have to take. And they have to figure out their point guard situation. Campaign is really whack. But other than that, Chris Paul being 37, I still think they'll be a great team in the regular season next year. But with the Clippers coming back, Denver is going to be back and probably going to be better. Then you got the Pels on the rise. Then Dallas is still going to be here. The Warriors are still going to be here. Minnesota, I said the Clippers. I always say them first. Minnesota's going to be here. You got to respect LeBron and AD to a degree.
Thank you.
So they'll be around. Portland, they can make some moves. So it's going to be a dangerous West next year. And I think with Chris Paul aging.
Did you say Pelicans, right?
I did say the Pelicans.
Denver.
I did say Denver. With Chris Paul aging and what is his contract? What, 2 years?
Two more years, 30 mil.
A piece? Oh, 60 mil? Oh, wow. I thought 30, like 15, 60 mil.
It's too late for that.
Suns, it's sad to say, but the Suns might have had the biggest 2-year peak in NBA history.
Like choke job, you mean? Like
no, like this might be it.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Like they just went first year out of nowhere, 50-plus wins, second seed, went to the finals. Second year, 60-plus wins, dog walked the regular season. Second round, next year it could be a play-in. Next year it could be the 7th, 8th seed.
You're getting rude.
No, the reason why he's right is because Deandre Ayton
is gone.
98% believe he's leaving because they don't want to pay him the max. You want to pay DeAndre Ayton $35 million a year?
No.
Okay.
No.
There's a team out there that will do it. I don't think the Suns will. Chris Paul, quad injury, 37. Let's just say he regresses to like a Mike Conley level.
Which we've been trying to push for a minute.
It's over. Like you mentioned, the West is loaded. You got Denver coming back with Jamal Murray, MPJ. You have Dallas who's going to be there. You have the Clippers with Kawhi coming back. You have the
Warriors still around.
Warriors are still
Minnesota
around.
is getting better.
Minnesota is getting better.
Pels are getting Zion
Pelicans
back.
are getting better. They're getting Zion
Portland
back.
has money.
Portland has money. They can spend. LeBron and AD, they're bringing back Westbrook. They're going to see if they can run it back and make it work.
You can't not.
Whatever.
Yeah, you got to respect it.
I feel confident that there are at least 5 to 7 teams that I trust going forward more than the Phoenix Suns.
At least in the playoff series, yes.
The Suns can be a play-in team.
Denver with their guys, I trust them in the playoff series more than Phoenix. I really do. The Joker at the helm, Jamal Murray, and MPJ back to that third role. I really do trust Denver in the playoffs before them.
You know, in your monologue, Riv, you mentioned Mikal and you know how he has to improve and stuff and all that. You mentioned that.
You about to knock him?
No, I'm not about to knock him. I'm actually about to say this because this is actually a point I'm gonna say to you, Drew, and I'll pass it over to you. You can talk. Then I'll finish off.
I thought you were ready. I thought you were waiting for this moment on the show.
It's just I am, but I'll let you go first because I'm actually interested in this. Because remember when we were talking about the Suns and you know I was saying outside of really Chris Paul and Devin Booker, they don't have shot creators. You know I don't really rely on Ayton or Mikal. And I was like,
Cam Johnson was their leading scorer.
And I was like, Cam Johnson, I don't think he's gonna have 20-point explosions. And you were like, don't sleep on that. Well, he had 12. Right?
He was their leading scorer. He was their leading scorer.
The most points he's had this series was 14. And I was in
he's a role player.
Game.
Good role player.
But you were talking about how he can have 20-point explosions.
I was saying if he had more opportunity.
Okay,
he's a good role player.
Come on. Don't try and single me out like that. You know what I was saying, you bastard. You're a bastard.
You overrated Cam Johnson.
No, I did not.
Yes,
he was their leading scorer yesterday. That's terrible.
No, after that game he had, that masterclass he had, you were geeked.
I was. Yeah, you were because y'all just think that he's mid.
Corey Brewer had 50.
No, I don't. I think he's a really serviceable role player.
Really?
I think he's good.
You act like he can be a starter and average like 20.
That's not what I like. You love to take what I say.
I do
and
think
blow
he can
it
be
up.
a starter eventually.
Yes, he can
I think
be
on the team. He can be a starter. Yeah.
Like Dorian Finney-Smith.
I was gonna say like a Jay Crowder, but I don't know. Is that bad?
You think he can be like a Desmond Bain?
No.
Okay, that's how you made it sound though.
You trying to knock
no, it's not.
I'm not making it
no,
sound like
it's
that.
not. I'm tired of you doing
So
that.
you want to give your monologue? You want me to go first?
No, I want. No, you've been waiting for this.
Right.
I'm very excited to hear it.
Stop trying to knock Desmond Bain, man.
Right now, I'm glad you're starting to see the light on Bane.
I respect him. Just don't like his game. I hate his arms.
Why?
I really hate.
I mean, he's oct. What's wrong with? Come on, bro.
Remember when he dove on the floor and he got up like against Minnesota?
Yo, he's nice. He's nice.
Here we go. Somebody get the camera out. 4K.
Luka Doncic is my guy. Yeah. Go on my Twitter right now, Joel V. Moran. You're gonna see Luka Doncic fan. It's right there.
Used to be Ann Edwards. What happened to that?
It's Luka's time right now.
He is unbelievable.
It's Luka times and
he's like it's like he's playing hopscotch with the NBA right now.
This is the thing. Luka's just an all-time great already. I've seen. He's one of the best players I've ever seen. He's averaging 39 points in elimination games. And let's just get to the Suns because this is who I really want to talk about. Then I'll go into some analysis about the game, but I really want to get this point across. The Suns trailed by 46 points at one point. The largest deficit in Game 7 in the last 25 years.
They laughed at us.
I know how embarrassing this feels. It was one time I was on the AU team. We was losing by 50. So I understand this feeling. It's not a good one. The 2022 Suns are the second team in NBA history to win 64-plus games and not make the conference finals. And fun fact, actually, four of the teams that have won 64 games in history have never made the NBA finals. So luck wasn't on their side.
Do you know the teams?
I don't know the teams. Actually, before I get on to what I'm actually going to say, I'm going to talk about the game a little bit because I don't want it to come across as
my balls are blue as sin.
Slandering Chris Paul too much. This is what I'm going to say. The Mavs figured out the Suns like you said. But the Suns had a bad shot profile all season long, and JJ briefly mentioned it on First Take, but I'll elaborate on it, is that they take a lot of mid-range shots, a lot of twos. They're 28th in three-point attempts per game. They take a lot of mid-range shots, a lot of long twos, and if you look at charts between Deandre Ayton, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul, they are all above league average shooting those shots, but Chris Paul specifically, he is like skyrocketing up, which means that Chris Paul was hitting his mid-range shot at an absurd, efficient, hot streak rate that just wasn't sustainable. And then you talk about Devin Booker. Jason Kidd trapped him in Game 7, something he hadn't done all series. In Game 7, he decided to trap him and really blitz him on these pick and rolls. Devin Booker couldn't pass over Dwight Powell. He was afraid to make those passes.
Donovan Mitchell.
He, to me, was the worst player in that game, not Chris Paul. Chris Paul has been the worst player of the two the past couple of games, but in Game 7, Devin Booker, to me, was the worst player. But it's just a credit to Jason Kidd and his adjustments.
100%.
Frank Ntilikina getting minutes and guarding Devin Booker. Booker shot 15% against him in this series. Deandre Ayton, in Game 7, just talking about the game, Devin Booker couldn't hit a shot. He was getting blitzed. Chris Paul had some mid-range early on. He didn't hit. Mikal Bridges couldn't hit a shot. Deandre Ayton was missing point-blank shots at the rim. And then he had 2 back-to-back offensive fouls. He was subbed out after that, and we only saw 3 more minutes out of him after that happened. I think that was the start of an altercation and why Monty didn't play him the entire way. But truthfully, he was getting abused. Luka was posting him up, backing him up, back to the basket. Dinwiddie was hunting for him. Deandre Ayton could not hang with these guys. These dudes are different. Luka is different.
Luka backed him down. That's when any deal Ayton had with the Suns went out the window.
The Suns were crazy efficient, and specifically like when guarding Chris Paul, like teams have played drop coverage on him in the past, which is why he was able to have an all-time series against Denver. Last series he played well. But when you play up on him and you take him away from that elbow mid-range jumper, he looks a lot like this. So I'm wondering how things are going to look like going forward. And that's why I'm not really high on the Suns moving forward. But with all that being said, people are being very reactionary to Chris Paul, and there's Pat Bev went on the whole media tour. We'll talk about that shortly. But he deserves this. And we know Chris Paul as the point guard, and I had this thought yesterday. The point guard title has to be officially removed and revoked for Chris Paul. We can never call him that again. And people may say it's reactionary, But it's not reactionary when Chris Paul has blown 5-2-0 series lead. No other player has blown 4. 1 with the Hornets, 2 with the Clippers, and now 2 with the Suns. He's only been with the Suns 2 years. He's done it. He's lost 4 straight Game 7s, and for the past 5 games, he's averaged 9 points, 6 assists, and 4 turnovers. We just witnessed one of the worst postseason losses in history. This was a Game 7. You want to know who owns the worst postseason loss in NBA history? It's Chris Paul, 2009 with the Hornets versus the Nuggets. He lost by 58 points. He's made the conference finals twice, in 2018 with Houston and in 2021 with the Suns. On both those teams, he wasn't the best player. It was James Harden in Houston and Devin Booker with the Suns.
58 points.
If he has never been the best player on a team to make the conference finals or the NBA finals, how is he the point guard? If he routinely blows series leads, how is he the point guard? Point guard would mean you have control of the game. You are the master at controlling the flow and tempo of the game. So how come he's always losing that control and tempo? You can't be called the point guard anymore. You just can't. And that's what I got to say about Chris Paul. I feel like it's over for that nickname. I think Steve Nash and Jason Kidd are more deserving of that nickname than Chris Paul. Jason Kidd, 2 NBA Finals appearances as the man with the Nets. Steve Nash, 2-time MVP, won 60 games with the Suns without his second best player, Amari Stoudemire. Those 2 guys are way more deserving of that title than Chris Paul.
Nash, the point guard for sure.
So do you have Nash and Kidd over CP3 all time?
CP3 has the stats.
As a ball player.
Here we go. Might be reactionary.
I still have Chris Paul over them.
I think that's a good opinion.
But
right there.
the point guard thing is done. Like, it's
but
done, bro.
You'll give it to Nash. You'll give it to Kidd.
It's just done. It's just.
I think Kidd should have had it from the jump.
Another thing I'll say is in 2018, I agree, no doubt about it. James Harden was the best player on that team. Could you argue that CP3 was the most important?
No.
Why not?
Because Harden was just MVP Harden.
Listen, I don't disagree. He was the best player without a doubt. CP3 and what he brought to that team.
CP3 brought something great to that
most
team.
Important.
But was he the leader of that team?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he the most important player on that team? No. The most important player on teams is the best player. Unless it's like a 1A, 1B situation. James Harden was averaging 30. James Harden.
I have a question for you.
The game plan for the Warriors was to stop Harden.
But can I ask you a question? Steph Curry is the best player on the Warriors. Yes.
Yep.
You have told me the most important is Draymond Green.
Yeah.
You have done that a lot.
I have done it.
That's I don't disagree with that though. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, you got me. There's no doubt.
All
you
right.
just got me. You got me in a tangle. I'm trying to unscramble. But I know you don't believe Draymond's the most important player.
I said I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree that Draymond is the most important because we saw Draymond come out. The Warriors defensively took a huge hit. The reason why you guys are as great as you are is because defensively,
I'm not even gonna get
Draymond.
into the back and forth.
Is Steph the most important?
He is.
So now you're flipped.
I'm flip-flopping. I'm flip-flopping because you trapped me into a corner.
But I don't disagree with you, though.
No, this is the thing. I think Draymond is the heart and soul, and he's the leader of the Warriors. But the Warriors would not be able to run any offense if it's not for Steph.
I agree.
So that's why he's the most important.
Curry.
So now you're going back.
Most important
because he's allowed to do that because he's Joel Moran.
Most important offensively is Steph. Most important defensively is Draymond.
The offense is called Steph Curry.
Of course. That's given facts.
But he flip-flopped.
That was crazy right there.
He did flip-flop
because I agreed with
that
him.
That was a crazy
So
flip-flop.
I was willing to have him agree with me on what I was saying. He refused to.
I can't allow you to say Chris Paul is the most important player on those Rockets.
He was.
No, he wasn't.
It was the 4K.
It was the 4K. But it's all right.
And maybe the logic you use behind it is that in Game 6 and 7, Harden didn't win without CP3. Well, yeah, because now the talent gap just became this to this. I mean, Harden with CP3 versus that team, there was still a massive talent gap.
Oh, I mean, for sure. We're talking about one of the greatest teams that
the only reason they were able
together.
to take them to 7 was because of the offense that Mike D'Antoni built around James Harden.
That CP3 knew how to run.
No, James Harden was the guy.
But who's
running the offense? What do you mean? They took turns. Yeah. It was just one guy go, one guy don't go, one guy drive, kick it out. It's literally what the Mavericks are doing right now. It's the same type of thing.
So, just to give my analysis on this game, it was ugly.
Yeah.
When we were live streaming, we were talking about everything under the sun except for this Suns and Mavs game because it was just not something that you wanted to watch. One of the most disappointing Game 7 weekends we've ever seen in our lifetimes. 2 terrible games, and this one was even worse than the first. This game was really, really bad because you expected this game to be, at the minimum, competitive. Regardless of which way it shook out, you were expecting the winner of this game to at least fight for it at the very end. It was never that. The first quarter, Suns came out flat, couldn't score, only scored 14 points in the first quarter. Luka Doncic outscored the Suns by himself in the first half. That's all you need to know about the Suns' offensive output last night. Devin Booker was bad. Chris Paul was bad. For Cam Johnson to be the team's leading scorer speaks volumes to how bad the stars of the Suns played last night.
He was bad too, though. He got dropped.
Now, it was a push, but he did get dropped.
Hey, it doesn't matter. He got dropped.
No, he got dropped. Listen, no one cares about it. If you're on the floor and
Everybody
you
on
make
Phoenix
the three,
was bad. Everybody played bad.
there was not a single player last night for the Suns that played well. Like, we're talking about the 10th player in the rotation.
Landry Shamet.
Should have played them more.
For the Suns to come out as flat as they did on their own home court, this is one of the biggest all-time gags of all time. You have a team that had been so consistently dominant in this regular season. They're trying to right their wrongs of losing in the finals last year, and to come out as flat as you did on your own home court in a Game 7, for Chris Paul, one of the biggest games of his life, for Devin Booker, going against Luka Doncic, who you have been back and forth with throughout the series, you get outplayed the last 2 games, was embarrassing. There's no way that you can look at the two and ever think that Booker can reach Luka. You're 100% right. Luka has solidified himself as being one of those that's on that trajectory of being an all-time great in this game.
Booker ain't even better than PG, man. I'm just gonna keep.
That's
it
not
high.
a conversation for
If
me
he
to
was
have.
getting
That's a
dope-
conversation for you to
Talk
have.
to me.
So you're the Suns. They obviously have some things to work out this summer.
Wait,
What are you doing with DeAndre Ayton?
Before you continue, pardon me. As a matter of fact, you continue. I'll ask after. What are you doing with DeAndre Ayton? Well, he's a restricted free agent, so you can match anything he does.
What are you?
I think you should try to do a sign and trade. I think that would be the best option. If he doesn't want to be there, fine. You don't have to be here, but we're going to sign you and we're going to trade you so we can get something
Best
back.
option.
But also, what do you think Ayton is?
Me personally, or what they think he is? Because I think we're on the same page.
You think the Suns and you believe Ayton's the same guy, in your opinion?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He is a good player, but he isn't an all-star.
No.
I think he's probably not the same type of player, but Clint Capella like in terms of that's probably going to be his as of right now, I can see him being at his best. Not like he plays like Clint Capella but
with
his
a little
level.
bit more offense.
No, like a Clint Capella level.
I know
type
what you
of
mean,
player.
yeah.
So I think that's what he can be. I mean, but a team like Detroit would probably want him. Maybe they'll take the bank on him. Like, yo, we got young talent. He's young. Throw him to us. Or maybe you can get back. Yeah, OKC, but they don't have really nothing for. Maybe you can get.
They could just sign him to a max.
But I'm saying the Suns can, they can match any offer given, so they kind of still have the cards. You know what I'm saying? So I think maybe like Detroit, like I was saying, maybe you can get Jeremy Grant. Maybe you can try to go get him. Maybe start running more small ball. I don't know, something. Or let Jay Crowder go.
They showed that when Ayton's not on the court, you still run JaVale, you run
Bring
Bismack
JaVale back. But I
Biyombo.
think like Jeremy Grant, Mikal Bridges, that's a pretty good defensive wing tandem.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, definitely.
like try to do something like that. But they're pretty much. I think they kind of already. I feel like they knew what DeAndre Ayton was last year, but they just kind of wanted to give him another
there's
try.
a reason they didn't sign him
Yeah,
last
but
season.
like I think
They went to the finals.
Easily.
There was a case for him to get his money.
easily picking number 1 is kind of crazy now.
It was Ayton,
Luka,
Bagley, Luka.
Luka
Yeah. That's crazy.
and Jaren Jackson.
Where Trey went? Didn't Trey go in that?
Trey
Trey
was
went
a 6
five.
pick.
Yeah. I thought it was 5. Maybe I'm wrong. Because I know it was Ayton, it was Bagley, it was Luka. I want to say it was Jaren, and then it was Trey.
Did Luka get traded for
Yes,
Trey?
3 and 5. They switched.
Should have took Trey.
Let me know if I'm right. I'm pretty sure.
No, yeah, Trey was 5.
Yeah.
6 was Mo Bamba.
And that's another thing that I want to talk about too, really quick. The people love to say that Luka for Trae Young is the most balanced trade in the history of the NBA. It's not balanced. The Mavs absolutely fleeced them.
I don't think they fleeced them.
There's a huge gap between Luka and Trae.
I don't want to say huge.
No, it's a huge
But
gap.
I think Atlanta got what they wanted. I think they're fine. They're comfortable with Trae Young.
Be real.
I think they're comfortable with Trae Young.
And you'd rather have Luka.
I would rather have Luka than a lot of guys.
Easily.
But I think but
no question.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, but Trae's a top 15 player in the NBA in year
Luka's
3.
arguably top 3.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think they're comfortable. Trae Young went to a conference finals before Luka. I think they're comfortable with that guy, bro. Like I think you
for them to be first round
I think
exits this year.
You can look at it and be like, yeah, Luka's better. So we obviously lost the trade, but they're not looking at it as like, damn, this was like we like picking Deandre Ayton 1, like damn, we really fucked up. Nah. We still got something good. We still got a superstar level player.
And I'm not saying that they didn't get something good. Obviously, I'm not disrespecting
I don't think it's a
Trae.
fleece.
I'm disrespecting Trae in terms of comparing him to Luka.
Fleece, I wouldn't call it a fleece.
It's a fleecing.
Fleece is like,
Because the Hawks had number 3. He should be on their team right now.
I don't know about fleece though.
It's a fleecing.
Fleece is like blatantly robbing somebody.
They did.
I mean, okay, so they got a top 5 player instead of they got a top
Because
15 player instead
imagine
of getting a top
Luka in
5.
the East.
Okay.
Scary hours.
Trade took them to the ECF, bro.
There's a chance that Luka could have went to the finals last year.
This trade is like you trading sneakers and somebody giving you Concords and give me back breads.
You're okay with it.
You think so?
Yeah.
No.
You're okay with it. You're literally okay with trading.
Like I like Concords better, but if I had breads, I wouldn't really be tripping.
Yeah, come on, bro. Don't make it seem
disagree.
like don't make.
I disagree. Luka's significantly better than Trae.
Do y'all agree with what Pat Bev said, man? Let's
I mean,
Well,
that
let's
is
do it now,
transitioning
yeah.
right into this week in the NBA.
This week in the NBA, what Pat Bev said, reiterate it. What did he say?
I like he's talking about Chris Paul. He said he's not on Steph Magic level. He's not even on Westbrook level. I think that last part is wrong. I think he's higher than Westbrook.
Pat Bev said that he's not.
It's not true this week in the NBA.
I'm just saying I'm just adding
help
to what
me.
you're saying. All right then, hotshot, go ahead.
Because I don't really want to talk about everything. I want to talk about something really specific.
I was about to respect
what
your boy.
Pat Bev said. He literally name dropped Paul George in the situation where I really
was
want to talk
crazy.
about. He said nobody was scared of the Suns. He said nobody. And listen, we could talk shit about Pat Bev all day, but he's him and Steph are really good friends. Him and the Clippers, they're really good friends. So he has a type of connections in the locker room. He said nobody in these locker rooms is scared of the Suns. Nobody has been scared of the Suns. Nobody's looking at Devin Booker like, yo, he's scary. He's name dropped Paul George and said they were just talking last night, and nobody is scared of the Suns. And I think like stuff like that is like a testament to the type of team you are. Like when even he gave respect. He said Steph is one of those players. Luka Doncic is one of those players. He even said it. Kawhi, he said he cooked me, Kawhi, and PG. He already knew he was going to cook the Suns, which is understandable. Those are the 3 best at what they do. The Suns don't have that type of power. But I think like Pat Bev saying that, Pat Bev going up on there, that kind of shows the testament to kind of like how teams view the Suns, specifically the Warriors and the Clippers, because he has the most connections in those locker rooms because he's cool with those guys. But that really shows like how people really viewed the Suns as a contender. Like people, the fact that people tried to paint Devin Booker in this image, Kobe like he's an assassin, he's a dog, he's on another level, and players don't really look at him like that. I think that's kind of like that should be kind of like shocking to us fans because we view him as probably a top 10, top 12 player in the NBA, and players are like, nah, we know who's the dogs. Luka's a dog, Steph's a dog, Giannis is a dog, LeBron's a dog, KD. Booker ain't really that. So I think that's kind of crazy.
I don't know if he was really singling out Booker as much as he's trying to combat CP3.
They asked him Devin Booker or Paul George. He said Indiana, Paul George. It ain't even close.
All right, fine. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Well, Indiana, Paul George, and Paul George now, 2 different players.
Yeah, but he said he ain't even close to that PG, and this PG way better.
Well, he's not. This PG's not way better.
No, I don't think way better.
But
that's what I'm telling you. What
Pat Bev also. I agree with some of the comments, but also he was just very biased in some of his takes. Like the reason why he had Paul George over Devin Booker was because Paul George has done more in his career rather than who's like the better player now.
He's very high on winning.
So you think the better player now is?
No, he's high on resume. That's why he thinks Westbrook is touching Chris Paul right now. because Westbrook is not, we know who Westbrook is. That's why he said that the Sixers should still give Harden the max. He obviously hasn't been watching because Harden's not the same. There was a report that came out by Brian Windhorst that nobody in the NBA believes Sixers are giving Harden the max. So for Pat Bev to be like, oh, it's because Doc Rivers' system, that's why Harden is not the same. You should still give him $40 million or $50. I'd probably Pat Bev hasn't been watching that much basketball, and I'm NBA players have a tough schedule. They're not watching all the time.
But one thing
he was out in the first round.
One thing I thought that was funny was Pat Bev was saying the night before when he's playing or planning for CP3, he's not really playing for him. He's going out to the steakhouse. He's having some wine. He's chilling. But when he's going against Steph Curry, he's in bed at 8 o'clock. He's telling his mom, don't call him. He's telling his girl, don't call him.
That's every player.
He was just being very disrespectful to CP3. That's really what it was.
36 years old.
At 30, which is why I felt like it was out of line. And maybe there's a little bit more, which is obvious. It's not a little bit. It's facts. There's a blatant hatred between the two of them.
No, I'm
They
saying
have
like,
beef.
For him to go on a
beef, but
media world tour
like,
to bash his name.
If you're an all-world defender, are you really going to sleep early for a 36-year-old Chris Paul?
Listen, man, I understand, but he's throwing his name around like he's a piece of trash and
He was
not a
violating
top
that.
75
think-
player in NBA history.
He's on the top 75, right?
Of course he is.
Of course, he has to be.
We're talking about him like he's a top 4 point guard of all time. He's not on all 75? Duh.
I don't know why I thought he wasn't on the team.
Come on.
I mean, Pat Bev literally talked about how Chris Paul only has numbers because he had opportunity.
I think when it comes to him and Chris Paul, obvious bias, but I don't think he has any bias towards Devin Booker. He asked a serious question. What has Devin Booker done?
I agree with Pat Bev and talk when
Didn't Pat Bev break Devin Booker's nose last year?
I wouldn't say broke.
when Pat Bev talked about Chris Paul, I mean, when he talked about the Suns and how nobody's scared of them, okay, like I can probably put 2 and 2 together and think that's a true statement. But when he talks about Chris Paul and how he only has these stats and he's only an all-time point guard because of longevity and stuff like that, I mean, what JJ Redick said to combat that was true. Like, not just anybody can get the keys to the Lamborghini. And Pat Bev even used JJ as an example. Like, JJ, if you were on the Clippers your entire career and had that much opportunity, you'd be first on an all-time three-pointers made list, even over Steph. And it's like, to me, when you say something like that, I mean, Pat Bev would never, ever, no team would ever look at Patrick Beverley and say, you are going to be the engine of our offense. We're going to play through you. No team in the NBA would ever do that. I don't think a tanking team would do it. If they had to be competitive, would pick Pat Bev to do that. So because of that, how can you just blatantly disrespect Chris Paul? But after that, I had no problem with what he said. I love this type of rivalry and shit talking back and forth. I love this.
That's facts.
Big energy. Very big energy. He has some points. Kevin 100.
And then you saw what Dame said back to him?
Dame is violating right now. He's actually going on a Twitter rant talking about he a bum, nobody guards him. He's going crazy. Dame needs to chill.
Did he cap?
Because, no, I'm going to tell you why Dame needs to chill.
Fine.
Because Chris Paul actually has a very strong resume. Dame ain't really got nothing. Like, we know Dame is great. We know Dame is great.
Is crazy.
Dame
doesn't care, though.
Yeah, but they posted a picture of literally Dame's accomplishment. He had the comment, like, I ain't shit. We're not saying you ain't shit, but it's kind of hilarious how when you looked at the stuff, it really was a lot of zeros. Like, zero this, zero this, zero this. So it's like, chill, Dame.
But I don't think Dame cares. I think Dame has made peace with not
top
winning a
75
champion.
player all
Not
time.
even.
Shouldn't have been.
But I think Dame has made peace with not winning a championship. Like,
I think he's made peace of
years
not winning
ago.
anything.
Like he's good for the rest of his life. He doesn't care. With Chris Paul, I think Chris Paul going on JJ's podcast and saying I'm addicted to the finals, and like Chris Paul, I think this genuinely hurts him because he wants to win and he wants to be at the highest of high levels.
Of course, because you win that championship, it changes how people saw your career.
It also speaks to your competitive edge.
Like, I think Chris Paul cares about legacy. Dame doesn't care about his legacy.
I don't know about that. Why are we
or
assuming
at least
that?
basketball legacy.
But why are we assuming that?
Because I just the way Dame talks, I can put 2 and 2 together and assume it.
I don't know if I'm
I think Dame.
side of the
I think Dame is totally fine with not having MVPs or finals appearance or all these other accolades or resumes. I think as long as he's made his money, he's tried his best to win, he's fine with that. I'm not saying I think he loves basketball, but I don't think he cares about all of the legacy talk that circulates with people in the media. I don't think he cares at all about that. He can retire tomorrow and be complacent with how his basketball career went. That's what I'm saying.
So my this week in the NBA is the fact that now we have an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference MVP trophy being distributed. In the Eastern Conference, it's going to be called the Larry Bird Trophy, and in the Western Conference, you're going to have the Magic Johnson Trophy. Now, I wanted to gather your guys' opinions. What do you guys think about an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference MVP?
How did they determine it? It's just the best player or the winner of the Eastern
It's
Conference?
most likely going to be the winner, I'm assuming.
Because the best player should be on the winner, most likely or not.
Okay. I guess it's cool.
I like it.
You know, I wish they can go back and go through the history and give the players that should have won it the award, because now I feel like players are going to use that towards the end in terms of comparing it to other players, and it's kind of sucks. It's like, well, we didn't have that. We didn't need to have that. And it's like, well, we did. So I wish they can go back and look at history. But I guess it's something dope because making it to an Eastern Conference or a Western Conference Finals is a big deal.
100%.
It is winning in the NBA is extremely hard, and getting there is an extremely big deal. So shout out to them for trying something new. I feel like LeBron, and I'm not a LeBron fan at all, but they should have named it the LeBron James Eastern Conference
But you know
Award.
why I respect and understand the meaning behind it is because Larry Bird and Magic Johnson saved the NBA,
True.
both of them being on the opposite conference,
It's fair.
and they built up what the NBA is now.
Yeah, I mean,
But I understand what you're saying. LeBron's going to get a trophy named after him eventually.
nah, if MJ don't got one, he not get one.
MJ's probably going to have one too.
Well, if he don't got one, LeBron ain't gonna get one. I'm just be honest with you. I'm just be honest
Until
with
that time, yes.
you. MJ should get the scoring title. The scoring title should be called the Michael
But
Jordan
that's the
Award.
thing. Do you think that holds significance to what Michael Jordan is? Like, is he just scoring?
I mean, it's either that or the logo.
I agree with that.
So
I agree with
if you
that.
don't get none of those, they already gave Kareem and Bill Russell. You know, they already gave them their stuff. They gave Magic. Now Magic and Bird got his stuff. So it's only a matter of time.
It's inevitable.
He-
Jordan's going to get his a long ways away. LeBron's going to get his. But I'll say
we're
this.
like 40 years
The
away
reason
from
why I like it is also because in MLB, you get an ALCS, an NLCS
Facts.
MVP. And that's something
They
that
have their
holds
own
significance.
awards in each conference.
Correct. But
The
only ALCS,
MVP, all that.
exactly. Which I think that the NBA should also incorporate a Western Conference and an Eastern Conference MVP, in my opinion.
I don't know about that.
Listen, I don't mind it right now.
Is
as
there more
it is.
players on baseball? Don't you guys have more
Yeah,
players?
there is. There is.
That's different.
I understand what
And
you're saying.
There's a lot of positions.
In baseball, yes,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's only one MVP both ways, and pitchers usually never win MVP.
Yeah, but it's like
There's been for sure.
yeah, of course. But there's like you got the pitcher award, then you got the
Cy
MVP,
Young.
then you got the hitter award,
Silver
then you
Slugger.
got the fielders, like you get the
Gold
center
Glove.
field, the left field.
Yeah.
So it's like they pay respect. You don't need a point guard award or shooting guard.
But that's no, I agree. But the point guard and the shooting guard award is the All NBA squad. That's the
Exactly.
Silver Slugger. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind this. I think years away we'll start to acknowledge it more. It's like, let's say
Has to happen.
Tatum starts to dominate and he starts becoming a Eastern Conference MVP, or Luke on the other side is Western Conference MVP. It's just going to help resumes. It's not going to diminish them. It's not going to diminish previous players who didn't win. It says you can just look at it very obviously. LeBron went to 8 straight finals. He'd have 8 straight Eastern Conference MVPs. That it's not going to be used against new players against previous players. There's no way. But it's just going to benefit future players. You think so?
Yeah, for sure.
But like, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like LeBron
You wanna
James
know
would have
why?
had 8 straight.
You wanna
Jordan
know
would
why?
have had 6 straight.
Because when Bill Russell played, I don't think they accounted for blocks at that time.
didn't.
So
Or steals.
he has no block leaders. Like he has no seasons where he led the league in
people
blocks.
forget
But people still understand that he's still one of the best defenders.
No,
to play
yeah,
the
but
game.
then when you match somebody's resume and you're like, oh well, this guy has led the league in blocks 6 times. Look at Bill Russell, he's 0.
I guess it just
But
takes into account
you'll
of people
see it
that
still.
really know the game and
Yeah.
people that just like the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it a lot. I think people should be awarded for that. I think the conference finals championship is a big deal, and having an MVP for it is good. But that being said, I'm actually an interesting nugget about that. You know, I was watching a Magic Johnson and Larry Bird documentary, and although they say Magic Johnson and Larry Bird saved the NBA, I think Larry Bird saved it more. The only reason for that is because in the documentary, and even in like shades of like Winning Time when you watch that show, it's like at the time fans of the NBA were very racist. So they didn't even like the Knicks. Like the Knicks were a team that nobody went to go by because it was filled with like all black players at that time because they were racist. So the only reason why the NBA was able to be saved was because Larry Bird was a marketable white player.
But you also needed that counterpart in Magic Johnson. He was he was unbelievable. And for the fact, he was
to an extent. But I feel like
all the famous people
and his
at the
personality too just played a factor into how charismatic and how likable he really was.
Yeah, to an extent. But they needed like it's a shame to say, but like they needed that white star in Larry Bird. But that's
understandable.
That's how like backward society was at the time, though.
For sure. But I feel like Magic. Remember, you ever see that flick of Magic with Mike Tyson?
I don't know if that's real, King.
I don't care if it isn't. It looks like he used to have cool. Everybody at the games, bro. Like
I know, but you wouldn't have you wouldn't have Michael and you wouldn't have Prince in the same room together, like walking in like that.
Absolutely not. But
that picture is lit. It's one of the best photoshops ever.
Every famous person in the 80s at the games, bro. He was so like popular.
That's Showtime. I mean, it's called Showtime for a reason.
And ironically enough, the Celtics team that was the best Celtics team of all time, I believe.
83?
I think 83 or 86 is one of those. But Larry Bird, Kevin McHale,
Robert Parrish,
Bill Walton.
I want to say it's 82.
It wasn't 86.
No, I'm sorry. Was it 80?
It wasn't 86.
Was it 84?
It was 83, 84.
Because
or 82.
No, I know.
It was early in the early 80s.
It's either 82 or 84 because it went Lakers, it went Celtics, it went Lakers. I think it went Celtics.
Philly won in the early 80s.
Early 80s, correct.
I thought the best Celtics team was the one with Luke Walton.
No, Bill Walton.
Oh, Bill Walton.
Correct. Luke is his father.
No, it was 85, 86.
85,
86 was the best.
The Philly, because Philly, their best Philly team is in the early 80s. I think 82, 83, when they had Moses, and Barkley just got drafted.
That was late. That was later, I think.
Okay,
I was going to
this
say,
team
because I know Magic beat Dr. J in the finals.
Yeah, so
81.
this team was Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge, Scott Wedman, Bill Walton. So yeah, that was the team.
Greatest Celtics
Bill Walton
team
was
MVP.
Legend, man.
He is a legend.
He's
He
mad
was a
good.
legend.
Well, this week in my NBA, to wrap this up, was that David Kaplan of NBC Chicago said that there's serious concerns within the Chicago Bulls front office about Lonzo Ball's knee. That Lonzo's knee is not getting better, and the Bulls front office is concerned about why he still has pain anytime he tries to ramp it up.
Yep.
That's another reason why Zach could leave. Just saying. I mentioned it last episode about the injury concerns with Lonzo, and now
Did you really?
I didn't. Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. No, I forgot.
The reason why he leaves because DeMar's aging, Alonzo can't play a full season, and Vucevic is a free agent after
Interesting
next
from
year.
the guy who actually can't play a full season. Zach.
Whoa. That was rude.
No, I'm saying it's interesting how he uses that towards a guy who actually can't play a full season.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily coming out of his mouth. I just think you just came crazy at Zach LaVine.
No, I'm talking about for what Joel said.
I know, but I'm saying that's a hypothetical situation that he just said. And you just came crazy at LaVine.
It just doesn't make sense.
I'm just saying, bro.
Just brace
be nice
yourself.
to him.
For what?
For
So when he doesn't
impact.
leave, what do you like? You're gonna go up here. You're gonna come up here and troll again.
I don't really have to like prepare for that moment because I already kind of know it's gonna happen.
Listen, bro, if he's going to leave, let him come to the Lake Show so you know someone's going to take care of him and
so
really
you can
love
at least
him.
get Westbrook.
I wouldn't wish that on you.
We wouldn't get him.
On to the next segment. The Sacramento Kings. We haven't talked about this yet, but we got Kings fans covered, man.
They do. Yo, Kings fans, shout out for always showing love, man.
What a fraud. Look at this guy.
We love y'all, man. Listen, there's not much good going on right now with your squad, but you know what? We got you held
Trade
down.
De'Aaron Fox.
I don't know if that's the option, man.
So they hired Mike Brown to be their new coach. They agreed to a 4-year deal. Now, last basketball show, I was arguing with John about it, about Mark Jackson versus Mike Brown, and they ended up going with Mike Brown. I'm actually a fan of this move, despite my pessimism about it last time. He's been with Golden State since 2016, NBA Coach of the Year. In 7 seasons, he has 2 50-win seasons, 2 60-win seasons, and 2 40-win seasons. He's only finished below 500 once, and that was in the 13-14 season with Cleveland. And you can say early in his career, yeah, he coached LeBron, and LeBron is just, we know LeBron's an all-time great, and that's why he was able to accumulate those wins. But the 07 Finals team, which he coached, was a defensive-minded team that bought into his philosophy. And while they weren't a talented team, he was able to get the most of them because they were specialists and they starred in their role. You got Drew Gooden, Ilgauskas, and Larry Hughes. They had those type of players. So
this guy knows that roster was mid.
I'll get to that because I was a Cleveland fan at that time, actually.
I mean,
so he's been 347 and 216. He has a 347 and 216 record as a head coach. And a little cool story about him is that when Klay Thompson had his 30-point game 6, he was going to go over to Klay to, tell him, hey, good job and stuff. And before he can say that, Klay Thompson just said, Mike Brown, I'm going to miss you next year when you're in Sacramento.
Damn.
I'm going to miss you yelling at me and telling me to get back on transition defense. And while Mike Brown said that in the post-game presser, you could tell he was getting a little bit teary-eyed about it. So he has a connection with these players in Golden State, and I think he's done a hell of a job in turning their defense around because he's been a huge part of that. My only concern about this is that I don't trust the Kings franchise. They have not been stable. And there was a report on the Stein line that talked about how the Kings are expecting a Wolves-esque surge this upcoming season with Mike Brown. So the Wolves went from the 13th seed to the 6th seed. So the Kings this past season were the 12th seed, which means that the front office is expecting a play-in or a playoff berth from Mike Brown in his first year. And just with the current roster with De'Aaron Fox, Justin Holiday, Harrison Barnes, Sabonis, Rashawn Holmes, DiVincenzo and Jeremy Lamb are free agents. I just don't know why you should have high expectations. I think a play-in should be, like, if they get the 9-10 seed, that should be seen as a success because Mike Brown still has to build around this team the way he wants to, and I don't think a year is enough to do that. But they do have the 7th best lottery odds, and with the departure of Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield, I do think they need a 2-guard. Justin Holiday isn't doing it for me personally. And I think Johnny Davis or a Benedict Mathurin fits them a lot. I like Johnny Davis a lot.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think Fox can play the 2 and then you have Davion play the 1?
No.
Davion definitely developed as a playmaker as the season went on. His offensive game definitely also showed strides. And De'Aaron really is more of a natural scorer than anything.
But that's a 6'1" and 6'3" backcourt.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing that it's definitely undersized.
Mitchell's not 6'1".
Yeah, that's like a what? 6.
He's like 5'11".
It's like
no, he's super short.
It's too small of a backcourt. But Johnny Davis is a very great defender, and he's also a skilled scorer on offense. Also, Dyson Daniels. Maybe they go get him.
I think they go AJ.
AJ Griffin? We'll see. But
they need everything.
Those are my thoughts on the Kings. I thought it was a good move, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Kings get a playoff berth out of Mike Brown.
Mike Brown in Golden State, what he used to do, to get his guys locked in on the defensive end, the guys who don't really play defense too much, he used to have these awards that he gives out on the defensive end for guys who've had a defensive effort. Draymond, Clay are not allowed to get them. Wiggins now also, GP, those guys who are known to be lockdowns are not allowed to get them. These awards go out to guys like Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Damian Lee, guys who don't usually make that defensive impact but show the effort. Mike Brown puts trust into his guys. He's been a defensive coach since Cleveland. And people love to bring up the finals team, but that's not even my favorite Cleveland team. I like the team that went 66-16, the team that lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. Granted, they went out sad, but Mo Williams, LeBron James, Ben Wallace was on that team. Ilgauskas, you had Drew Gooden. That team was good. Delonte West, when they ran the 2-guard backcourt, that team was solid. And Mike Brown always got defensive effort out his guys. And I think Sacramento has always needed a defensive-minded coach. They've never been a good defense. They've needed somebody who can come in there and fix that defense, and I think Mike Brown can do that. He done seen the ups and downs of Golden State. He done seen the downfall and the rise, and then the downfall, then the rise again. So I think at this point, you need a fresh face. You need somebody who's coached vets, somebody who's also coached young guys. And I think Mike Brown is definitely the first start in that. I don't think a play-in is a success yet. I think just being competitive is success. The Sacramento Kings are not competitive. I feel like if they're not in the play-in, but you've seen consistent competitive strides, then I think you can definitely say, okay, this is an improvement. Because this team right now needs a shake-up. It definitely needs a shake-up.
I'll say this.
What are you going to say?
I mean, you think they're very talented.
Yeah, talk to me.
They were until they started trading everything. It's unfortunate. But I'll say this.
They traded for Nikola Jokic Light.
Extremely poor version. Yeah. And I'll stand by that. But I'll say this. You're saying that the play-in is not enough. I disagree.
Not in year one.
But I say this. It's the play-in 7 through 10.
Look at the West.
their best season was when they missed the playoffs as a 9th seed, right?
The West has gotten better.
And I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying we saw the Spurs overachieve and make the 10th seed, excuse me. You can still be competitive and fight for a play-in spot.
Overachievers, you guys just underachieved.
No, we under. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying they definitely played better than what we were expecting.
That's true. But even then, they were like 5 games below 500.
Which is why I say you still should be contending for that 9-10. Because it's not like great teams are making the 9-10. We were significantly under 500, as were the Spurs. You can still be not a great team and contend for that 9-10.
True.
So being competitive is that 9-10, really.
But I don't think their roster is built for that.
For the 9-10. I mean, did you think that the Spurs roster was built for that?
No. But I didn't think the Kings
They need
roster
a mentality
was built for that.
change for sure. And like you guys already alluded to, they need to fix their defense. Defensively, they're horrible. The personnel they have for defense right now is definitely lackluster. So maybe you bring in a coach that changes mindsets and maybe players start to give in. You already have one with Davion Mitchell, but outside of that, there's not many guys on that roster, including their best player, De'Aaron Fox, who has shown great strides in playing defense. I'll say this. I think that you bring in Mike Brown. If he doesn't have you in that conversation of a play-in, you really can't have much to be excited about, truthfully.
Year one?
That 9-10 is not that far-fetched, especially when teams that were like 15 games under 500
Minnesota
were the 9-10.
The Clippers, the
Mavericks.
Pelicans, and
The
Spurs were the playing. You mean to tell me they not only that, those 4 teams, who the Clippers are getting everybody back, they have to also fight with the Lakers for a play-in spot.
And
you
Portland healthy.
And Portland. So you think they can? That's a failure.
I'm not saying it's a failure necessarily, but you want to see them at least try and contend for that 9-10. At least 10. Again, there were teams that were 15 games under 500. More than that, you definitely can be around that competing for the 10th spot. You need to be in the play-in spot, or at least contending for the play-in spot.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. But I don't know. I think
with this squad,
they have a lot to work on.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
And who knows what direction they're going in. You know, this draft, there's a lot of wild cards in, so I think this draft is a lot of hit or misses, personally. Especially with the Kings, they're looking for a star. I feel like the Kings feel like a Benedict Mathurin team to me.
Depends on where they go in the lottery.
Yeah, they have the 7th best odds.
Yeah, they could get into the top 5.
You said 7th?
7th best odds.
That'll change drastically if they get a top 5 pick.
I mean, we've seen with the new lottery that teams in the 7th best odds fall into that top 4.
What if
top
Jaden
3.
Ivey goes to the Kings?
I like it.
My bugging, Jaden Ivey's too. He's not a.
He's not a
point.
Point
That's
guard.
what I'm saying. So
But
do you
he's
need?
going to play the 2? Davion Mitchell's not going to start. I need you to understand.
But Davion started once Tyrese left.
Yeah, and it's not good. It's just not. It's not a success for winning games. Like, you want Fox at the 1. You get in the Ivy. You got Davion's a really good backup. He maybe be a starter later in life, but it's not. That's not ideal for success.
Because what's Ivy right now projected? 3-4.
Anywhere between 3 to 5, maybe 2.
Yeah, he's going to be a top.
If Chet falls, I mean that wouldn't be the best case.
Jaden Ivey's game is John Morant minus the playmaking.
Better the defense.
And he's not athletic though, but
I know what
slasher.
He
That's
is
what
very
he is.
athletic though. Don't.
He's just not as athletic.
I don't think they should go big though, because like Paola, he doesn't play defense. Well, let me not say he doesn't play. He's not a good defender. Putting him with Sabonis, okay.
Paola, are you talking about Funkero?
Yes.
Okay, Paolo.
Paolo, sorry.
Just the way you said it was funny.
Yeah, maybe Jabari Smith. Maybe
Yeah.
to stretch the floor. You know. But just defensive oriented guys. You need to bring guys with that mentality. So like you said, Johnny Davis. But if Jaden's there, I don't think they go Johnny Davis. I think you'd be crazy if you pick Johnny over.
You think Johnny Davis? Johnny Davis is a bucket.
He is, but you'd be crazy if you pick. Or maybe you say, fuck it, and I'm gonna pick Shaedon Sharp. You know, like I'm just gonna bank on it, and we're just gonna ride the wave of Shaedon Sharp. I don't want him to go there. I really don't. But
you want to go to a more exciting team?
I want him to go to Detroit.
What about Dyson
Like
Daniels?
that.
Project.
But Detroit's do you think Detroit's probably gonna have what, top 3?
Top 4, top 3. They can. I think Detroit's a team that can't go wrong with any pick.
Okay. I agree. I mean, they need a lot.
Yeah. Ranking top 5 players that have had the best performances in these playoffs, or the top 5 players in these playoffs so far. And mind you, this is just a ranking, so they could have lost in the first round or whatever. I know you probably don't have those guys.
I don't
either.
There.
I don't have losers.
All right.
Including Giannis?
He just lost. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
That's what I'm saying.
But if this was made next week, he wouldn't be on this list.
I only have people that were playing in this round.
So top 5 playoff performers. You can go first, Drew. 5 through 1.
It's because I told him who I have at 5. It's because I told him who I have at 5. Because I know that you guys are going to disrespect him and not have him on your list. So I want to show him the love that he deserves.
Hurry up.
Al Horford, number 5 for me. You know what? The points, the averages aren't amazing, but you look at his impact, his defensive impact. You know what? Laugh. I don't give two fucks.
Laughed. That's why I laughed.
It's because I told him already. So he was preparing this. You know, he has it in his head. Yeah, Drew's gonna say Al Horford after playing that. I gotta laugh. He knows the truth. When he was on Giannis, he was doing a great job of holding him offensively. Him and Grant Williams did an excellent job defensively. However, give me 1 second while I pull up these defensive stats. I apologize.
13 points, bro.
Defensively, in 180.1 possessions against, in 180 possessions against Horford, 33 for 91. That's 36.3%. 2 from 12 from 3, 13 turnovers and 7 block attempts. Now, I'll tell you this. Al Horford was huge for the Boston Celtics in this series and is definitely a huge factor of why they were able to get past Milwaukee. He was huge in moments when they needed him. I have to throw him on this list. I don't care what you guys said. Number 4 for me, Jimmy Butler. He's been outstanding. Only reason why he's not higher on my list is because of the talent that he's played is not as great as the other 3 guys that I have on my list. Jimmy Butler's been excellent, 28.7, basically 8 rebounds, basically 6 assists, 2 steals. He's been excellent. Efficiency has been great, 53% from the field. He's been awesome. Only reason why I have these other 3 guys because I like the talent that they played. Number 3 for me, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He was excellent up until the last quarter of Game 6 and the second half of Game 7. 32 points, basically, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, basically 50% from the field. The one thing that I look at Giannis and he needs to improve, obviously you look at his jump shot, is his free throw percentage. He's getting to the line a ton. If Giannis is going to continue to get to the line, he needs to increase his free throw percentage to around that 73 to 75% from the free throw line, and he'll really start putting up crazy numbers. If he already isn't putting up crazy numbers, that free throw percentage would help him. Number 2 for me, Jason Tatum. The reason why I don't have him number 1 is because Luka Doncic has just been unbelievable. But just to speak on Jason Tatum, 28 points per game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 44% from the field, almost 40% from 3. And to do this against the Nets and the Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks. Game 3, they threw Tatum's name in the mud. And what he do, games 4, 5, 6, and 7, he averaged 30 points the rest of the way. He was absolutely phenomenal. That's how you bounce back when you want to be recognized as a superstar, a true superstar, a top 5 player in the world, and he gave you that performance against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, number 1 goes without saying, Luka Doncic. For him to pull this crazy upset against the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, Phoenix Suns, on just absolutely unbelievable play, both offensively and defensively. He has completely given in to Jason Kidd and his mindset of being able to commit to both sides of the ball, but just the defense as a whole from the Mavericks has been excellent. But Luka just offensively is just a talent like very few right now.
All right. So like your list, I did best players remaining. You know, shout out to the Joker, shout out to Anthony Edwards, shout out to Brandon Ingram.
For sure.
They were amazing.
For sure.
You know, I feel like I'm missing a few, but shout out to y'all who played in the first round. But I got to go with the guys who were still in it. Giannis made the exception because he just lost recently. So for me at 5, it's Steph. You know, I'm not putting out Horford. That's fucking ridiculous.
I don't care. It's my list. I do what I want.
But
it's
yeah,
actually funny because weren't you just saying that Jaylen Brown has been the best Robin in the NBA?
But I got to give credit where credit is due.
So what did he be like 5?
But see, the thing is, I could have said Jaylen Brown, but I didn't want to. Because we haven't spoken about Al Horford and what he has done for the Celtics. Yeah. So I needed everyone to know how great he was.
Like I said, number 5 for me, Steph Curry. You know, he's been good, A little bit underwhelming for everybody else though, because
to a degree.
the expectations for him is greatness, but been one of the best fourth quarter scorers in the playoffs. 9 points a game on 54, 42, 89 splits. He's been amazing in the fourth when they need him the most. He hits big shots. Defensively, he's been amazing on Desmond Bane all series. So for me, Steph is at 5. At 4 for me is Jimmy Butler. I think he's been amazing on the offensive end. He's proven people wrong. The competition, I understand, is scarce, but he's hitting threes. He's hitting the mid-range jump shot. He's been amazing on that end. He's making plays for others, and we just wanted to see that from the aggressiveness. So for me, Jimmy Butler's at 4. 3, Jason Tatum. He's been elite on both ends. I understand the stinker is why I kind of have him at 3, because the next two guys haven't had a stinker like that. But nonetheless, Jason Tatum has been a menace on the defensive end, on
100%.
Kevin Durant, and then on top of that, going against Drew Holiday at times, he's been great on that end too. So for me, Jason Tatum's at 3. Number 2, Luka. Luka has been dominant on the offensive end.
I'm
He's
shocked.
been great. I don't see how Giannis is not number one.
Okay, respect.
I don't see
Respect.
how Giannis isn't
That
number
is
one.
super ironic. So you're not giving him a pass, but he's been the number 1 player in the postseason.
I don't give him a pass for choking, but he's been the number 1 player in the postseason.
That is so weird.
He averaged damn near 40.
I mean, he was amazing. Yes, but that's my whole point.
No, he didn't.
He
It was
37?
30. Yeah, I was gonna say.
He averaged 32.
He averaged 32 against who?
No, like
No,
entire
in the
player.
playoffs.
I'm talking about in the regular
34
against
34.
Boston.
34.
He was,
But he had a
fucking
bunch of 40s.
amazing.
He was.
but the only thing with Luka is if he would have played more against Utah, he probably would have destroyed them. So I probably would have put him higher. But because he didn't play enough against Utah, I'm not gonna put him against.
So someone who lost, you have as 1. But then you go and you criticize him earlier in the show, not giving him a pass. That's the only reason why I'm giving you a hard time.
he was amazing.
Without a doubt.
He's been
You
ridiculous.
can't question that.
Giannis has been the best player performer right now, but he lost, so now he's out of the list. So I have another list.
No. I mean,
Let me. I just want to quickly throw it
I
now.
mean, are we
now-
allowing this?
Whatever.
Thank you.
Unbelievable.
So now that the Warriors are going to play Dallas and the Heat are going to play Boston, right now the remaining guys that have been playing good, Luka at 1, Jason Tatum at 2, Jimmy Butler at 3, Steph at 4, Jalen Brunson at 5. So that is
Jalen Brunson over Jalen Brown?
yes. Jalen
And Al Horford? Are you insane?
Okay, yes, definitely Al Horford. But yeah, I got Jalen Brunson over Jalen Brown. Yeah, so that would be my best 5.
Come on, bro.
Remaining
You know
5.
Jalen Brown be cooking.
He's at 6. He's there.
Well, if I was going off of playoff players that are in the playoffs right now, your list minus Brunson but with Brown is what I'm going with.
Definitely.
But my list is it's easy. It's Nikola Jokic. I don't care that he lost in the first round. He averaged 31, 13, and 6. I don't care
You
that
got him at 5?
Huh?
You got him at 5?
I have him at 5. I don't care that he lost in the first round. He was
great.
MVP level.
He was great.
Incredible.
That's what he was.
He was awesome.
Jason Tatum is 4, averaging 28, 6, and 6. The splits aren't like
Shit.
The
the
3-point
splits
shooting.
aren't shit. No,
the
it's
3-point
44% from the field,
excellent.
39% from 3. It's not
Excellent.
shit. But it's not
44% is
it's
okay.
not groundbreakingly elite,
What's
which
the
is why
free throw
he's
percentage?
4.
81.
Solid.
Number 3 to me is
82.
Solid.
Number 3 to me is Hemi Butler.
do
29
that.
points per
Don't
game,
do
Steal
that.
David's
8
ad name?
rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals.
Shout
He's
out
shooting
David.
52% from the field and 36%
That's
from 3.
elite.
Oh, he's going crazy.
And I've been telling you guys, Butler's just one of those guys you trust, man.
You literally
All right, so
just
take
it.
Miami.
That's it. You just trust
Oh,
Butler.
please take Miami.
Number
please.
2 is Giannis, averaging 32, 14, and 7. 49% from the field. Don't love it, but, it's manageable. Number 1 is Luka Doncic, though. Luka has been the best playoff performer these playoffs. He was the best playoff performer last season. He was the best playoff performer the year
what?
before that.
Wait.
Luka Doncic
Wait.
has been the best.
No. Kawhi was better.
Luka Doncic is the best playoff performer in the history
Your recency bias
of the
stinks.
NBA. In the history.
Anyways.
He is the best.
Let's get on the smart topics and
I
conversations.
just can't, man. Like, sometimes I just get so
Luka
aggravated.
Luka is.
It's another new
like
player.
some-
It's another new player. He's finna ride the bandwagon.
I actually, you know what? I just bought 2 shirts. I bought an Anthony Edwards Thirsty shirt. Shout out to the brain. Got to support my guy Ant-Man. And then
you
I
took
also
him off your Twitter.
I have to fit in Luka.
Interesting.
It's Luka's time now. Edwards will get his shine. He's not even in his prime yet.
It's crazy how you flip-flop.
Luka's hitting his pinnacle. But then the other
Bro's
shirt,
the human chancla. It's
then
insane.
The other the other shirt I bought is Luka holding a baby with Devin Booker's face on it. So it's coming in. I'm going to wear it Friday if it comes by that time.
All right.
I will wear that shirt.
All right.
Yeah.
I understand.
It was the shirt that they pointed to on the camera on the TNT broadcast when a fan wore it. A fan was wearing that exact shirt. Sitting pretty close.
I don't appreciate the sentiment because I like Devin Booker. However, hilarious shirt.
I like Devin, but, Luka's my guy. Got to support
You like him a lot.
Got to support
Understandably.
it. Gotta support it. So on to our playoff previews. The first one we're going to start off with out west, Warriors versus Mavericks. It is tough. You're right.
Not tough for me.
The Mavs are 3-1 this season against Golden State. Luka versus Golden State this
So
year
was Memphis.
has averaged 31 points per game, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. And Luka scoring 81 points in his first 2 Game 7s, most in NBA history, by the way. Just, want to tell you that. And
in elimination games, he's averaging 39?
I think so.
He is, yep. And, he backed up his trash talk after Devin Booker talked trash and came back and he won that series. Now, I don't know what way you guys are going out. Well, I do know the way you're going, so I'm going to start with you, Drew. And who do you think wins this series?
Well, you doing that, I already know which way you're going. You're going to flip-flop and go pick Dallas.
It's so hard for me because I have understood the Warriors and the way that they have come to play playoff basketball, come the start of the NBA playoffs. We saw with the Nuggets, they dominated. We saw with the Grizzlies to a degree where even when the Grizzlies played their absolute best, the Warriors were still able to sneak away games. But you look at the Mavericks, and I counted them out against the Suns, but I showed Luka his respect. I said this series was going to go 7 games, but I thought that the Suns were just a better team, better coached, and Luka just showed that he just has those abilities to elevate the team to another level and win games and win series. And that's why this is so difficult for me, because every part of me wants to go against the Warriors. I do want to go against the Warriors. I can't lie. Because it's hard to root against him or let me not say root against him. The word I'm looking for is just to side against him, right? Because Luka is just so great. He is the next great superstar in the NBA. He already is him. I just mean in the sense of being acknowledged as an all-time great to play this game. He's going to be on that level one day. I just don't know if the team... Dallas is great defensively. They're a very great defensive team, but I just don't know if it's going to beat the playoff experience of the Warriors. And I do think that if it goes 7, Luka is going to come and show up that game regardless of the outcome, win or lose. But I do have the Warriors winning in 7. I just think the playoff experience is going to be a little bit too much.
You should go next.
Well,
can't wait.
It's tough, man. Like, you could really hear like the distress in my voice giving that analysis. It's just the Mavs really have been great defensively all season long, and it's not just Luka. We mentioned it earlier. It's Dorian Finney-Smith. You have Jalen Brunson, who's come in and been great for them offensively, defensively. Spencer Dinwiddie coming to this team, 100% right to you. I give you that credit. He's coming and giving them a jolt off the bench, and he thrives in that role. Defensively, they've completely given in. That's credit to Jason Kidd and what he's done. I just think that the experience of the Warriors, the health of the Warriors, so long as they stay healthy, I don't see them losing.
I was having a conversation with my cousin yesterday on my front porch.
Shout out to
It was
him.
nice weather.
And we were just talking about it. And I just told him, I'm torn. Between this series, we were talking about this series, and I said I'm torn because my mind tells me one thing. My heart is telling me another.
This is facts.
And I don't want to give away which way my mind and heart is going right now. But the reason why my heart is leaning one way is because, quite frankly, I don't like Golden State. I despise Golden State.
What?
Actually.
That is so insane to me.
I despise
Bro,
Golden
I'm
State.
tired of hearing this.
Golden State beating the Rockets year in and year out.
Year in, year out, 4 times.
I've grown the Golden State Warriors being unbeatable for a time period in the NBA.
That was annoying.
3 years.
I'm just so annoyed by them. I'm annoyed by Steph getting passes when he doesn't play up to his level, yet every superstar gets criticized for underperforming just a little bit. But Steph does it a lot. Nobody even bats an eye to it.
He's got me right now. I'm going to be 100% honest.
And Luka's just somebody that is my guy. Is Luka Doncic, Luka Magic, bright smile, has a nice smile. Despite the way he looks in a jersey, his physique is 10 out of 10 amazing.
dear.
Somebody sent me a shirt on Twitter with him shirtless, and it's actually, I
Very
could tell.
Tatum like.
Yeah, very, very, very nice. Very nice figure.
Handsome man.
The question I always come to when talking with this prediction, the question I ask myself is who can guard Luka on Golden State? Memphis with Ja was hunting. They were hunting down Poole and Curry on switches. I mean, with Dallas, they are going to spam it. Wiggins can't guard Luka. Clay can't guard Luka. Draymond is more valuable as a backline help defender than as a one-on-one defender, and even then, he can't guard Luka. So, who is going to guard Luka? And I'm not sure, between these two teams, which team, this via Half Court Hoops, he made an excellent point on Twitter, which team will decide to take away the threes of the other first? Because is Golden State going to let Luka play one-on-one and take their chances with him beating them? Or are they going to start helping off these players and now creating open threes for these people? I think the Warriors will probably start off by collapsing on Luka, making players around him beat them. But once they figure out that maybe they're shooting it at a high clip, they'll just let Luka go on one-on-one and let him do his thing. And then with Golden State, it's really the same concept. The difference with Dallas is like they're just not an offensive team. This is a great defensive team with a great defensive mind in Jason Kidd running at the helm, made excellent adjustments versus Phoenix.
Dude, I'm torn.
With Dallas, I'm wondering, will they collapse on Steph on these high pick and rolls that Draymond sets? Are they going to let Draymond operate in the short roll and now create open opportunities for other players? See, these are all the things that are kind of going through my mind. The Mavs are shooting 38% from three as a team these playoffs. They've been scorching hot. And the matchups, I think Finney-Smith will be on Steph. I think Brunson, this is where it gets tricky. Brunson on Clay or Brunson on Wiggins. The reason for that is because Bullock is the defender that probably should be on Clay.
Or Poole.
But because Andrew Wiggins is such a hustle player and he was huge on the boards against Memphis, you might want Bullock to neutralize that more. Then you'll take your chances with Clay a little bit more. Powell on Dre, Luka on Looney. Just don't use Luka like that. These are the starters, by the way. The Brunson matchup is the one that's trickiest for me. I think this series, they might put him in a lot of actions. I'm not sure how Golden State is going to attack Luka. Probably put him in a lot of actions as well. The communications are going to have to be just on another level with them defensively because Warriors move around so much offensively. Believe it or not, this series I still haven't made up my mind on yet. So this prediction that I'm about to give you guys is just the first thing out of my brain. It's just the words that I'm going to spew out. I'm going with the Warriors in 6.
The same prediction you've had all year.
I think the Warriors are beating the Mavericks. The Mavericks, as much as I want to believe it's Luka's time, it might very well be Luka's time to win this series. No doubt about it. I just believe the Warriors have a bit more. And I think they will allow Luka to play one-on-one, and they'll just take away the other players and gas Luka out. And their offense, putting the way they move offensively, it's going to be a tough, tall task. And unlike Phoenix, Dallas, they don't have an interior presence that can damage Golden State. And even we saw Golden State versus Memphis, the best rebounding team in basketball, out-rebound them. 44-7 is insane. It just feels like the Celtics the Warriors are going to the finals. And as much as I want to say Dallas, I want to be right as well. If it goes 7, though, this is my counter prediction. If it goes 7,
Luka's not losing.
Dallas wins in 7.
And Chase.
Because Luka is not losing a game 7.
That's why I favor Golden State in Chase.
But Warriors in 6, though, I think they close it out in Dallas. Game 6.
So you think
Yeah.
Luka beats Steph at home?
Yeah.
Game 7.
Yeah. All the chips on the line. Luka versus Steph. I'm taking Luka 10 times
What?
out of 10.
I don't disagree too much there.
I don't. There isn't a man
If you're
outside
telling me
of
I get
LeBron
one,
that can do that.
if you get me, Luka's LeBron.
Easy. I understand what he
Relax.
means, but that is crazy.
Relax.
He's that level of player.
Relax.
Level of player?
Yes.
Stop.
Trust
Please,
me. he
enough.
is.
No, he's not.
He
Do
is.
you want to change your pick?
No.
So you're staying with the Warriors?
I'm gonna stay Warriors in 7. You're shocked? You wish you were somewhere. You wish you had someone going against you right now.
No, I don't care.
Mhm.
I've
It's tough though because listen, the fact that I know that the anticipation for you to go is crazy. But
you said everything. Yeah, I said everything that needed to be said.
yeah,
I know what we're gonna do already. The Joker has averaged 30 on us. John Moran averaged 40 on us. What do you think we're gonna do? We're gonna let Luka do whatever he wants to do, because at the end of the day, and I keep saying this, but nobody keeps hearing me. One man cannot beat the Warriors. They're not gonna beat us. Luka is amazing. He's not beating us 4 times in a row. Not even LeBron was able to do that. Kyrie had to be on a different type of level. There's nobody that's beating us 4 times. We're gonna let Luka do what he do, because in reality you can't stop him anyways, and you neutralize everybody else. That's really what you got to do. You got to neutralize Jalen Brunson. You got to neutralize Dorian Finney-Smith in that 3-point shot. Reggie Bullock. You have to neutralize the help and make him play by himself. And in terms of defense, we play defense too.
definitely.
We're in elite defense too. But I think this matchup is actually an interesting matchup because they can go small with us. You know, they can switch a lot of ball screens. They can switch a lot of the actions that we're going to, like you said, we're going to throw a lot. We do a lot of guard actions. Poole and Steph are going to get a lot of mismatches on the court. But with Dallas, for the most part, they can switch a lot of that because they have a lot of
100%.
multiple defenders. But it is going to be interesting because as Luka's putting all that energy on offense, we got to make him work on defense. We got to make him put that same type of energy on defense, get him in pick and rolls, make him switch, make him run, make him work. It's going to be tough, though, because Dallas, like you said, 38% from the 3. This is an extremely tough matchup for us because they have the length, they have the wingspan, they have the size to defend our guards. You know, I think Bullock on, like you said, on Wiggins or even on Poole, that's a tough matchup because he's been really good defensively. Finney-Smith is 6'8", long arms, and he has the athletic ability. Yeah, automatically he's guarding Steph. And I didn't even think they're probably going to double team him, Steph, off the pick and roll and let Dre or Looney roll to the basket. Powell is good enough to recover. He has that athletic ability. So he's a perfect center for this type of matchup because he has the athletic ability to switch and stay in this game. But this ain't Chris Paul and Devin Booker, bro. This is not. I know, you know, the game 7, they've been embarrassing. Steph Curry's on a different level than both of those guys. Respect to them, but this ain't that. But I do got Warriors.
Talking like Steph's been clutch every single moment.
He's
of his
not, but he
career.
clears both of them. He clears both of them by far.
Of course.
I got Warriors in 6 though. I think Dallas would be tough, but I do got Warriors in 6. We haven't lost at home yet, so we protected home court in the playoffs so far. But Dallas is going to give us a fight of our lives because I think like they match up really well. But I got Warriors in 6. The rebounding, I'm not really concerned about that because, like you said, we out-rebounded Memphis 5 out of the 6 games. Wiggins has been amazing on the glass. Kevon Looney. The three-point shooting, if we miss like Memphis, I don't think we win. But if we start finally finding our groove and starting to hit those open shots that we have, we can't play as sloppy as we did against Memphis, against Dallas. We cannot do that. We cannot turn the ball over like we did against Memphis against Dallas because Dallas, Jason Kidd, Dorian Finney-Smith, Luka, they just have they're hot and they have a different type of thinking right now. They think they can beat anybody
100%.
in the league. So we can't do the same silly mistakes against Memphis that we do against Dallas. We have to be better prepared. And Draymond said we are going to be. So I trust Dre, I trust Steph, I trust Clay, I trust Poole. Warriors in 6, baby.
Heat versus Celtics Eastern Conference preview.
Oh boy.
Now, Riv, I don't know what way you're going with this.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention your dog walk to the finals.
I was literally close. That was supposed to be 5. Warriors.
I don't know. It's not a dog walk once Ja goes out and y'all get blown out by 40.
We won in 6. I was really close. I was legit. If Ja plays, I really think we win in 5 games.
And I would give you that respect. 5 games. That's a dog walk.
Whatever, though.
Because this isn't about to be a dog walk, and you know it.
Because I thought we was going to play Phoenix. We was going to dog walk Phoenix. I swear to God we was.
I apologize, but let's go.
I don't know what way you're going in this series. You still didn't make a decision.
I actually did make a decision.
Wow, please,
this morning. I did make a decision.
Please, man.
Wait, so you're going Boston, right?
I just want to hear what you want to say.
That's facts. Come on, you're trying to gauge. Come on, let me hear
okay,
it. Come on.
So yesterday I was really torn up about this because this is actually, I think this is going to be a dogfight. I do believe
Really?
Miami and Boston, it's going to be just as good as Boston and the Bucks because I think defensively, this is going to be like the Detroit Pistons versus the Indiana Pacers. I feel like it's going to have that type of defensive impact. Two elite defense. I mean, Miami was an elite defense, and half their guys didn't play the season. So two elite defenses, two defenses that kind of have the same personnels that kind of can match one another. Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker can guard Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, vice versa. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can definitely guard Jimmy Butler and PJ. Bam has a switchable ability. Rob Williams. Well, I'm saying,
I know what you mean.
Bam has a switchable ability. Rob Will, Al Horford, Grant Will, they have the switchable ability. You got a lot of guys, but it's like I look at Miami and I look at the 3-point shooting that they have. I look at Jimmy Butler. He's been playing at a ridiculous rate. I gotta go Miami.
Yes.
I am.
This is music to my ears.
I don't like Miami, but
yes,
everything is predicated on Jimmy Butler being this amazing, and with him being this amazing, I got Miami. But I do think the series goes 7 games. This would be a 7-game series.
This is when you know
I got Miami.
Pride cometh before the fall.
I got Miami.
Chooses the Nets over the Celtics, chooses Milwaukee over the Celtics.
I got Miami.
And in his heart, when we sat at this table months ago and we had this conversation about the Celtics versus Miami, you and I were on the exact same page.
Wasn't. What did we say?
No,
Jimmy,
we said if it's just Jimmy, the Celtics can get it done.
Yeah, but Jimmy is on another.
And Tatum isn't.
But we've never
Jaylen
seen
Brown
it.
hasn't been cooking.
We've never seen this. Like outside of the finals against the Lakers, we have never seen Jimmy be like this, bro. He's on a different level offensively.
And then this is how we debunk that, right? Because against the Hawks and the Sixers, I'm supposed to be more impressed. But defensively,
the Nets defensively,
I'm talking
the Nets defensively.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's a tough defense, but
you told me that Drew was gonna give Tatum fits.
He did for sometimes.
Until Tatum realized, oh wow, I'm Jason Tatum.
The difference with the Bucks and Miami, the Bucks allow a lot of threes, and they rely heavily on their rim protection. Miami doesn't. Miami can rely a lot on the perimeter, but they also can guard the interior. That's why I've always said it. Miami and the Boston, they match up evenly. The only difference is Boston has the best player in the series. So, but defensively, they match up because he said that. But defensively, Miami can
I don't
switch.
agree with that reasoning.
What?
Okay, thank you.
What reason?
I almost had a stroke. I thought you were trying to say that Jimmy Butler was better than Tatum.
I'm gonna be honest. This series is pretty easy for me to predict.
Very.
I'm
so happy to see you.
I'm more worried about me getting Dallas and Golden State wrong than I am about this.
Me too.
Because
100%.
There's just something magical about Dallas right now that's happening that it can very well lead to a finals appearance.
The one thing in basketball, though, usually the better team wins. Usually in basketball, the better team wins.
But before you go, Drew, I'll just say this. And honestly, everything I'm about to say is just spoiler. Like, I'm picking Boston. But everything I'm going to say, after I say this, there is no reason you or anybody listening and or watching should bet on Miami to win this series or pick them.
I ain't betting on them. Says the guy who bet on them to make the finals.
Celtics are 2-1 versus the Heat this year, but that doesn't matter at all. But this is the second time these two teams have faced in the conference finals in the last 3 years. Back in the bubble, the 5th-seeded Heat versus the 3rd-seeded Celtics. The Heat won in 6.
Yep.
Butler averaged 19 in that series. Bam and Goran averaged 20. Herro averaged 19. But the difference between the two teams now is that the Heat now have PJ Tucker and Kyle Lowry, who's not playing in this, at least in game one, hamstring. Max Strus is there too. But for the most part, it's the same team. It's the same culture. It's the same brand of basketball. The Celtics have completely changed. This is not the same team. They don't have Kemba Walker anymore, who is a defensive liability. And their big man at the time was Daniel Tice and Enes Kanter. So Bam was able to feast on them. Now they have Rob Will, who's going to play. And Ime Udoka has said is not under any restrictions in this series.
He's okay.
And Al Horford.
Huh?
So
Didn't see
Al
much in the Bucks
Horford.
series. You know,
He was hurt. He was definitely affected.
Al Horford already. I mean, what was I going to say? Bam Adebayo already hasn't been good these playoffs offensively.
against Embiid.
So now facing off against Al Horford and Rob Will, do I expect them to? I don't.
Say a prayer.
The Miami Heat haven't had a real test in these playoffs. They've had midterms. They haven't had final exams.
Midterms matter.
And the 76ers and Hawks aren't real teams. The Hawks are one of the worst defenses in the league. The Sixers are one of the worst
So are
defenses
the
in the
Nets.
league. Let's look at the Celtics' path. The Nets, who everybody had as a championship contender before the playoffs
One of the worst
started.
defenses in the league.
Once
Say
the
that. You have
playoffs
to say
started,
that.
Team
let
that
me
you
finish.
thought was
You have
going
to
to
say
win.
that.
Let me
The team you
finish.
thought was going
Let
to
me-
win.
You
let me
cannot play
finish.
it both ways. One of the worst defenses in the league, the Nets.
But you thought
also,
they were
No, let me
going
finish.
to
Let me
win.
finish.
I did. But you
So
can't,
what does it
but you
matter?
can't say Atlanta's one of the worst defenses and not say the Nets are. They
You
are.
know, here's the difference, though.
They are, though.
Boston is the best defensive team in the NBA.
Miami's top 4.
Okay, they're not number one.
They missed half their players.
And offensively, you and I both agree Boston is better.
because they're the two guys, yes.
Let
But
me
Miami
finish.
statistically has a better offense.
But again, we're not statistic guys.
But you just use statistics for defense. You can't play it both ways. You cannot.
But you can use your eyes and see that Boston's
you
the best
cannot,
defense.
You cannot do that. I cannot play it both ways.
But I'm being honest, though, because I use it both ways.
Let him. No, you didn't. Let him finish.
What do you mean? I said I use my eyes, but the numbers help as well.
So I can't do
Your
that.
eyes don't tell you that Miami's a better offensive team.
But the numbers do.
My point exactly.
So it's 50-50.
Come on, go ahead, Joel.
The Celtics have beat the Nets and Bucks, who, when the playoffs started, were both teams that we viewed as conference finals contenders, if not title contenders. The
No, we
Celtics,
didn't.
you didn't think the Nets could make the conference finals?
You were the only person at this table that said this was a conference. You were the only person. I didn't view
So
them
you
as
don't
a-
think the Nets were a top 4 team in the East going into the playoffs?
No, I didn't.
You said they were going to beat the Celtics.
But I didn't say they were a conference finals contender. I never said that.
So you don't think they had a chance against Milwaukee?
No, I thought the Bucks were going to beat them regardless, and that's
Okay.
a fact.
All right, whatever.
You were
That
the only
doesn't,
person that
that
said
doesn't
that.
even matter. Regardless, the Celtics have had a tougher path. They embarrassed the Nets.
Facts.
And in the Bucks series, they show 2 things. How impactful and valuable the role players are.
Facts.
And Tatum's ascension. It's as simple as that. Tatum is now ascending
Yep.
into a different conversation. And by the end of these playoffs, he will be in the conversation. KD shot 38% in the series in the first round, 13% lower than his series average. Giannis shot 45% in the series, 10% lower than his series average. Jimmy Butler is currently shooting 52% in the playoffs and shot 48% in the regular season.
Yep.
If I'm just doing a simple math equation, I can expect Butler in this series versus Boston to shoot 41% to 38% to 36% in this series. I think Butler has this type of series. He'll probably average 20, 41% from the field. Bam Adebayo hasn't been good all playoffs offensively. Tyler Herro hasn't been good all offensively. Hasn't been good offensively all playoffs.
Yeah.
He's been averaging 13 points
I
per game.
agree.
Kyle Lowry is hurt. Who's going to step up? If the Celtics can take away Jimmy Butler,
Right.
this series is done.
Tatum averaged 40. He shot 44% from the field with Wesley Matthews and Drew Holiday guarding him. Correct.
Okay.
Almost 40% from three. Don't forget that.
Yes, almost 40% from the 3. And then against the Nets, he probably shot around the same percentages, right? With Kevin Durant guarding him, right?
I can look, but keep going.
So can I make the assumption, like you just did, that
Tatum
let me
shot
finish.
44% from the field in the playoffs.
Let me finish. So can I make the assumption that Jimmy Butler and PJ Tucker, the same way how you just made the assumption that they can make Jason Tatum struggle just like you did? I can, right? Because Jimmy Butler and PJ Tucker are elite perimeter defenders. Because
That's a possibility, but I have more faith in Jimmy Butler dropping off to this than I do that.
Miami's defense is tough, man.
I mean, it's tough. There's no way around it. But like I said, the Bam thing. Al Horford on 27 possessions in Game 7 against Giannis held him to 8 points, 3 for 12. Bam is getting taken away. Like I said, what are you searching up right there?
Tatum's averages against the Nets were insane.
Who plays defense on the Nets?
Again, but you did not pick the Celtics to win this series.
But who plays defense on the Nets?
But then you should have took that into your analysis.
But who plays? I'm talking about right now. Who plays defense on the Nets like Miami?
No one.
Okay.
Listen,
So you told me Drew was going to hold this.
I mean, he shot 44% against.
And he shot 45% against the Nets. What's the difference? One.
and plus Butler's shots are a bit different also than
I agree.
Tatum's.
It is.
And
No,
Butler, at least in the Philly series, was getting to the paint a lot. He was posting up a lot. I don't think he'll be able to do that against Boston. And I trust those other guys in Boston, those role players like Grant Williams, Payne Pritchard, Jaylen Brown also as a second guy to step up. I trust all those guys to step up more.
Jimmy will guard Jaylen Brown. I'm fine with that.
All right.
I'm fine
With
that.
all that being said, look, am I a little bit torn about this? A little bit, only because PJ Tucker's on the Heat.
Oh, right,
That's
right,
the only reason why. But I have Celtics in 6 written here. I'm changing it. Celtics in 5. They're gonna win this series.
I think.
I can't be. Yeah, come on.
What?
Can I go?
Oh, pardon me. Sorry. I thought you went. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that, Joel. Celtics in 5. Because you know where I reside.
Celtics in 5.
Celtics in 5.
Try and
I
go
looked
2
at-
for 1.
Listen, you guys can say all you want.
2 for 1.
That series against Milwaukee could have ended in 5 games had Boston been a little bit more confident. Milwaukee had the championship experience. They weren't nervous. Boston still understood that we're the better team. We just have to play like it. They were able to close the series. But the window for them to win in 5 was there. They couldn't close.
That's true.
Now I'm looking at this series, and I'm looking at the offensive output out of Miami, and it's basically Jimmy Butler with a side of Bam Adebayo, who's been inconsistent to say the absolute least. His offensive output has just not been anywhere near of what was expected of him, especially as his supposed number 2 option. Tyler Herro averaging under 15 points this postseason. He has been abysmal for what everyone was expecting Tyler Herro to be. Max Strus, him averaging 13 points. You give respect to him. He's not the type of player that you're expecting. 100% for sure. Victor Oladipo has been.
He doesn't play much.
Inching his way back. I mean, this is not a team that I'm looking at that I'm worried in the slightest bit. Joel hit the nail on the head with everything that he said. Defensively, I'm going with Boston. Offensively, I'm going with Boston. There is no one on Miami offensively that holds anywhere near the talent that Jason Tatum has. I don't care what Jimmy Butler has done against Philadelphia, who defensively is not a great defensive team at all, and Matisse Thybulle, who can barely be on the court because his offensive output is basically non-existent. He's basically unplayable. And then against Atlanta, who has no defensive presence at all, yes, what Jimmy's numbers on a blank surface, they are impressive as can be, but they're not as impressive when you realize the talent that he was facing was not anything of real substance. Boston has been the best team in the NBA since the All-Star break. And I don't expect to see Miami Heat be any type of obstacle in their way. Boston is going to win very comfortably.
Oh, my God.
I'm so happy. Because, me and you were on the same side. We sat at this table. JC, we miss you. We hope you're doing all right. We sat at this table. We had this conversation with Joel.
Yeah, me and Joel's flip sides. That's literally what happened. It's just funny to me. So a couple things you guys said. You keep saying Atlanta was abysmal on defense, which I agree with you.
Thank you.
Agree. Philly's not that good on defense. I agree with you. But you don't acknowledge Brooklyn. Aside from the star power, Brooklyn is a horrible defensive team.
There's
you
a
don't
reason? I haven't mentioned them.
You don't acknowledge. You keep saying, and listen, outside of the Bucks.
It was a sweeping. What am I to mention about the Nets?
Outside of the Bucks, which was impressive. I said that before. Boston gets a A+ grade for that because the Bucks are a good defense with an elite perimeter defender in Drew Holiday. You get an A+ for that. They played phenomenal. But you keep talking about Miami's path being because they had bad defenses, but then you have to acknowledge the fact that it's outside. Of course, Brooklyn has the 2 stars. Nobody's denying that. But we're just talking defenses. Brooklyn is just as bad as those 2 teams on defense that Miami played.
Let me ask you a question.
They handled a team that
Milwaukee what you're saying.
was ducking them.
I don't know about
They
they
went to the
ducking them.
3
I
seed
don't know if
to
they were
not
ducking them.
play the Nets.
What's your
Boston
question?
said, I don't
that has
care who
nothing to do
we
with what I'm
face.
saying.
I'm just saying that this team showed that it does not matter who we play.
That has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
We can handle them.
That has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
Because there's no team that wanted to play the Nets on that top of the Eastern Conference. But you know who did? Boston.
What's your question? 'Cause
All
it has
regular,
nothing to do with what I'm saying.
all regular season, you've spoken about Jimmy Butler not being good offensively or being
Hasn't been good
a
offense?
great offensive player. So now he's turned it up in the playoffs. You don't think he'll regress back to what he's been in the regular season versus Boston?
when they
I'm
played in the
shocked.
regular season.
No, I'm just saying, like, you don't think that Jimmy Butler's just gonna go back to his
No, I think
21 point per
at
game
this point,
average?
no, I think he's on a different level right now. I
Riv,
do
I
believe
am
he's on a
shocked.
different level right now. I think defensively, Miami and Boston defensively are going to fight. I think the way you guys are just disregarding Miami's defense. Oh, Bam's going to be taking out the series. Okay, what do you think he's going to do to their big men? He's going to that Al Horford.
But their big men aren't even featured in the offense.
Yeah,
like
but
that anyway.
that whole Al Horford is the fifth best player. Come on, bro. He's going to take them complete. Like there's nothing they're going to be able
Do you
to
understand
do against
Milwaukee's
Bam.
big man is Giannis Antetokounmpo?
What does that have to do with anything? What I'm
He's
saying?
one of the best defenders in the NBA.
What
But
does
you're
that have
telling
to
me
do with
Bam
anything what
Adebayo
I'm
is going to
saying?
be the X factor in stopping Al Horford and his
Bam is a
production
better
also?
he doesn't have to stop, bro.
Bro,
I'm
bro,
just
bro,
saying
bro,
for what
Al
his
Horford
role
Al Horford was
provides.
beating Giannis off the dribble on the perimeter. Bam's a better perimeter defender than Giannis. You do know that, right?
For sure.
So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Bam is a better. He's not. Al Horford.
But you were talking
is
down low.
No, because Al Horford was a beating. Giannis
Bro,
was getting
we
beat
don't-
off
we don't
the
have
dribble.
to talk about-
by
Of course,
Grant
we really
Williams.
don't.
No, I'm talking about to your point. We don't have to talk about the Bam Horford matchup. Bam is going to beat Horford in that matchup.
Defensively,
Bam is a
for
better
sure.
player.
No,
Like, come on, bro.
Nobody's-
but
bro, he
offensively,
doesn't-
Bam's going to be irrelevant.
Horford doesn't have to work.
Bam
Nobody's
is
worried about
going to
Horford,
be
bro.
irrelevant, and no one's worried about Bam offensively. No one.
That's fine, but you please stop.
Yo, there's a chance that
You're
Bam
propping up
Adebayo,
Horford a bit too much.
whatever you
problem.
want to say, but that Al Horford is one of the main reasons why they're moving on to the next round. Regardless
Because
of
Giannis
that fact,
in the
guard.
Grant Williams category.
there's a chance. Exactly, and Grant Williams,
Yeah, but he's
was
not, like,
absolutely
you know,
outstanding. But
he's a
it's
role player.
Boston is an amazing team.
Nobody said they wasn't, bro.
My whole point being is, again, let me get back to what I was saying. There's a chance that Bam Adebayo doesn't even average 13 points this series.
There's a chance for a lot of people to not average 13 points. What's your point?
The only way possible that you can even think Miami could
I
win.
guarantee you Bam averages 13 points.
Wow.
guarantee
Okay,
you.
sure.
I
He's
guarantee he
averaging
averages like 15,
14.
16 points. I really believe that.
Sure, because Giannis Antetokounmpo struggled with Al Horford and Grant Williams. You're telling me that Grant Williams and Al Horford can't stop someone who's significantly inferior offensively?
Just because you can stop an elite player doesn't mean you can always stop a good player.
I'm telling you for sure. I'm confident in that.
I'm sure you can be confident, but just like how you're confident in Boston's defense, I'm confident in Miami's defense. They're an elite defensive team. They have great perimeter. They have elite perimeter defenders, just like Boston.
Okay, there you go.
Just like Boston. So I
And
don't.
the
Kyle
difference
Lowry
is-
is a huge loss in this series, though.
I agree.
And
Well, he's
offense-
only not if he doesn't play, that sucks. But I think he's only missing game
Riv,
one.
look me straight in the eyes and tell
Hamstring
me
though
you
lingers on though.
look me straight in the eyes and tell me you believe in Miami's offense over Boston's.
I believe in Jimmy Butler.
So you believe in one player over what
Two.
you've seen? Who?
You're gonna name two. I'm gonna name one.
What do you mean? I believe in the role players of what Grant Williams has been consistently showing me all
He's
season.
wide open.
All
the
season,
Bucks
he's
were
been
leaving
shooting
him
40%.
Wide open.
All season, he's been shooting 40% from three.
I'm talking about. I don't care. I'm talking about the playoffs. We're in the playoffs. I'm talking about last series. I'm talking about last
So
series.
fine, against the Nets, against Milwaukee,
The-
he's
the
been
team that doesn't play
consistent
defense.
all year.
All right. I trust him. I trust Miami's defense. I trust Eric Spoelstra, the best coach in the East. I trust him, bro. I'm telling you, I trust him. Miami's gonna win.
You know what? I'll change my pick. Celtics in 6, not 5. I got Celtics.
5
in
is
6.
disrespectful.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not.
five
It's
is-
not
5
disrespectful.
is extremely
I got
Because
Celtics in
disrespectful.
Boston
6
is a
though.
better team.
You can be a better team.
Easily.
It'd still be disrespectful.
It's not disrespectful.
So you're sticking with Heat.
Yeah, I got the Heat.
Okay.
I like their defense. I like Jimmy Butler's turn up. He's been amazing, and I feel like the spacing is gonna be better this series. So,
Okay.
so I like PJ Tucker on Jason Tatum. He's gonna make him work. I love Jimmy Butler on Jaylen Brown, Mr. Robin. I love that matchup. Jimmy's gonna clean that matchup. I love it. I don't know anybody stupid thinks Jaylen Brown's gonna cook Jimmy Butler. But I love that matchup.
Jason Tatum's probably going to play defense on him. So,
I'm just talking about Jimmy guarding Jaylen Brown. He's done.
I mean, you're being very rude.
Rude about what?
What do you mean rude about what? You understand what you're saying? You're saying that Jaylen Brown.
Just gonna get locked up by Jimmy Butler.
Oh,
yes.
he's getting locked up. I'm sorry. I'm thinking you're saying defensively, Jaylen Brown's going to get cooked.
Nah, he might not get cooked.
Okay, that's what
I'm
I was.
saying
That's
Jimmy
what I
Butler-
was confused about.
Jimmy Butler's gonna lock Jaylen Brown up. PJ Tucker's gonna make Jason Tatum work.
Interesting.
work hard too.
Okay, interesting.
And then Marcus
Very.
Smart, he can score.
Because
Nobody really
we've
cares.
spoken about this before. No one can stop Tatum.
No, we have not spoken about this ever in life.
I've said this on multiple occasions.
That doesn't mean you're right.
I mean, have I been wrong so far?
It's been 2 series and 1 against the Nets. Good job.
I mean, since the All-Star break, I've been preaching nothing but Jason Tatum.
Since the All-Star break. All right. I mean, that's cool. The Heat have been number 1 for damn near the whole year, bro. What are you going to say? Since the All-Star break, they've been number 1.
I mean,
so what do you, like, you're going to say.
but who's been the best team in the NBA since the All-Star break?
No. This All-Star break shit is aggravating. They've been the
Why?
best team since the All-Star break. That's fine.
And this is going to be your downfall.
That's fine and dandy.
It's going to be your
Miami
downfall.
has been number 1 for damn near the whole year, and they've missed players left and right. Please stop with the All-Star break.
It's going to be your
stuff.
downfall.
Because even with that All-Star break, guess who's still the number 1 seed? The Miami Heat.
It's going to be your downfall.
If I have no emotional attachment to the series.
Come
So
on,
it's not
man.
gonna be
It's
my
bigger than
downfall.
that. It's
not
between
gonna
you
be
and
my
I.
downfall. It's not.
No, it's going to be your
not gonna
downfall.
be my downfall.
It is,
'Cause
100%.
Miami, I don't think they'll lose. I got Miami in 6.
Sometimes you got to take your
Actually,
recent knowledge into account.
I'm gonna go Miami 7. I think it goes 7.
Really?
Yes, I think it goes all the way back to Miami. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
I think this definitely goes 7.
All right.
So that's going to do it for episode 179 of the Pick a Side
Don't
podcast.
lose.
You can follow us on
I think
Instagram
you
and
need
TikTok
to be worried about that.
at Pick a Side Podcast, on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, and buy merch on
how clean that looks.
pickasidepodcast.com.
Look how clean.
Get this fire Pick a
Come
Side
on.
hoodie. Support the brand. Thank you guys so much for listening and or watching, and we'll see you next time.